Yeah, I bet.
Nico, what's up, man?
Sorry,
How we doing?
let me tell you, great to be here.
It's amazing, man. I'm so excited. I know we've been talking about this for a long time now. And,
Yeah, since I've known you.
Since I've known you, yeah. Did we talk about it on the first day we met?
No.
No.
First day we met, I think you had wrestling pants on, or I had wrestling pants on. One of us did.
I think that was not the first time.
No?
I remember the first time you walked in at 7 a.m., and I thought you were somebody else.
That's right.
I'm waving at you across the Palmer Fitness, and I realized it wasn't the person I thought it was. And you're coming at me like, do I know you? Like, and then we met, and then we've seen each other ever since. And then you had wrestling sweatpants on like a week or two later. And
Okay,
we started
yeah.
talking a lot more.
Yeah, you're
and then
right.
Pod invite came through.
And then I feel like third time we talked, you told me you had a podcast.
I think I did.
Third, fourth.
Now here we are.
Yeah.
How's life, man? We just came back. First day of winter term. How does
Pretty
it feel?
good. Yeah, classes today weren't too bad.
Yeah, you like a new schedule?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
It's different than first semester because you already have your friends. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
true.
you're not trying to meet too many people in your classes. Now it's like the classes are going for class or already have buddies in them.
Yeah, it was different because I feel like normally I still had a little bit of that energy of,
Yeah.
okay, we're here. I'm supposed to be trying to meet new people, but then I just barely did because I walk in the classroom. I already know that guy and that guy. Oh, yeah. Like I think my Physics 140 class today, it was so shocking because there was 250 people in that class in like a small lecture hall. So we're literally sitting on top of each other, dude. They had the small chairs like you're in the theater with the desks that come out.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about in Weiser? And
Same.
dude, I knew like so many people in that room. I looked around like, damn, and then it wasn't just me. Everyone I talked to was like, damn, everybody's in this fucking class. Like we all just knew each other. It was crazy. And literally 3 people I knew who didn't know each other were all sitting next to each other. So I just sat there. It was crazy, dude.
But that's so crazy when your friends have a crossover.
Yeah.
Like when you see two people you know in different aspects, like from
Yeah.
different things, and they know each other. Such a trip for me.
It is. It's crazy. 'Cause like I feel like every time I'm sitting with you and one of my friends, they always happen to be cousins.
Yeah, always. And
Yeah.
I don't even know them.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you see you around, and then the conversation starts. And,
So how do you feel, though, switching up the time that you're going to go to the gym? You're not going to see any of your gym bros anymore.
It's not finalized. I played around with it for a while, just thinking about it. But I think with my class schedule, it makes sense to go to the gym later and
Yeah.
try to study in the morning because I barely did any studying last term until the end of the term because I was able to finish most of it in class. Just because
that's
my
good.
classes were so easy.
Yeah.
My only hard one was really EECS 203, and then EECS 183 was a little time consuming. Other than that, like the classes I were taking, English 125 was zero work.
Yeah.
Digital Futures was zero work. So I had a lot of free time. And I was able to do my homework in those classes for other classes. So this term's not the same. So I think I'll probably study in the morning, lift in the evening. So, I mean, I feel like now and then I'll pop in the morning and see you guys again. But, you know, are you still lifting the mornings this term?
No. I told you I'm just going to focus on stretching.
Oh, so you're not going to lift at all?
No.
That's interesting.
I know. Well, wrestling still left me kind of banged up. Like, I was doing better for a while. Like, my back. I think it's a problem with my lower traps. Like, that was getting stronger. And then, I don't know if my body wasn't getting enough recovery or what. But then it just stopped getting stronger. And then they, like, weren't working anymore.
Well, what happened?
So, it was last year wrestling.
This is your knee, right?
No.
Oh,
so I
shit.
hurt my knee the end of junior year.
All right, tell me these stories.
My back has always been a little bit of a problem. Like, it hurt me, like, 8th grade, I would say. And then again sophomore year. Was fine junior year. Then junior year is when I threw the knee out. And then started to bother me again end of senior year. Yeah. But it was weird. We would do, like, 40 pull-ups every day after practice. 40 pull-ups, 40 dips, 40 push-ups, and 40 sit-ups.
That's sick.
And it's, like, after a wrestling practice.
That's tough.
You know, like, we'd start at 3:30, go into, like, 6:30. And it's like, where do I have the energy to be doing these pull-ups after? But I would bang out, like, a good 10, 12.
Did you say 40 pull-ups?
Yeah. 40.
Oh, I missed that part. Fuck.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
After wrestling, I mean, 40 pull-ups alone is a lot. That's a whole, like, 4 sets of, like, workout.
Yeah. Our coach was he was on top of us.
That's good.
Like really
Yeah.
gonna push you.
How was your school overall? I know you're a pretty good wrestler. Was your whole school good?
Your school was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it rank in Michigan?
The last year, I think we got up to 5th.
Ooh.
Yeah. So our district final was us against Davison, Michigan, who historically is a great program, like for decades. And 2 years before that, they had won the state title, beat Catholic Central, which usually always wins D1 in Michigan. And we were going against Davison. They had lost their head coach. We had gotten another like assistant head coach who was from Richmond, who's like a really historically good D3 wrestling program. Like that guy won 7 out of 14 titles
Dang.
while he was there. Yeah. So we got him on the team.
Oh, no way.
Bunch of good freshmen. You know, things were looking good. So we went against Davison, the district finals. They had just graduated a bunch of kids. And our freshman heavyweight, like almost pinned their senior heavyweight, upset
no
him.
Way. I feel like with heavyweights it's more common. Some random shit going
Yeah,
on.
yeah, exactly.
Unexpected.
But didn't pull it off.
Almost
pull it
pinned.
off. Yeah.
That's rough. Do you know
It was a close
where
one.
does New Lothrop fit in the whole thing? You've heard of the school, right? I think I told you.
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, lower division.
Okay.
Lower division, like not gonna win the title, I don't think.
I know they had some really good wrestlers, like my roommate next door.
I would
Like he,
bet.
and he told me that there were other kids on the team that are pretty good, but I think they had a small school, small
Yeah.
team. So I think that's probably what. Was it like D4 or what was it?
I don't know. I just heard the name thrown around.
Okay.
I didn't hear a ton about them. You
Yeah.
know, it's like there's so many good wrestling schools.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
But it's hard when you don't recruit.
yeah.
Like we went and watched the state finals last year, and it was like Division 1 through 4. The matches, duels up to that were competitive, but then once you got to the finals, all of them were by like at least 20 points because there was a school in each division that just out recruited
Yeah.
all the other
And
ones.
big schools too, like public schools have more volume too.
Oh.
But the big public. I mean, I feel like there are not that many big public schools here. But I feel like relatively in Jersey, some of those public schools would have like 2,000, 4,000 graduating classes, kids in the graduating class. So with that volume,
serious?
yeah, they're big schools. Michigan's like most of the public schools are in small towns to begin with,
Yeah,
and even like some bigger cities like Ann Arbor would have multiple public schools.
yeah.
I'm not seeing that many big schools here. You know, people think big
No.
like 300, 400, 500. It's like
Yeah,
honestly.
like I would say like above 2,000 is pretty big for
Yeah.
D1.
Yeah.
I think my school got boosted up because we had a big online like virtual academy, and those kids were allowed to do sports, so that counted.
What is that?
Towards our like school's population? It's like kids that wanted to go to school online.
That started in COVID.
No, I think before then. It was like one of the biggest in the state apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have friends in that? Like, how does it work for them?
I only knew one kid that actually did the virtual academy and then played sports for my school. He did tennis, and he only did it for a year. So it kind of like bumps us up to a higher division, and then we don't get to use most of those kids.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough because I feel like even it's tough for the school for sure. It's even tough for the individual. I feel like just going to online school all the time. Like I hope it's something that they actually want to do, not something that's forced upon them. Because
Yeah.
I feel like mentally, if they're still going out throughout the day in places and interacting with people, maybe it's fine. But I just feel like sitting in front of your computer all day would suck.
Yeah, that, and you're not interacting with anybody. Like you're not meeting anybody. You know, it's just you and your schoolwork. Like half of school is being with your friends.
Yeah,
You know.
school's great. I think just being around people teaches you so much about the world.
Yeah, I would say like you can have all these values in your head and like ideas you think of yourself and what you want to be, but you do have to go out and actually practice them, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So do you have like a best wrestling match of all time? Favorite of yours?
I mean, there was one match I think about often. I told you I wasn't the best wrestler, but there was a. It probably wasn't my best performance, but it's most memorable.
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah.
I could pull the video of it because I know you said you want to watch some.
Yeah.
You could see how bad a wrestler I was, but.
Right now? Or
Yeah, why not?
Later time? Okay.
Let me think.
I'm
about how to
down
do
for
this.
that.
I want to put on the TV. I could log into Flow on here. What's it called? Something else. I'll try logging in.
Is it track wrestling?
No, we used something else. I think we used Matt Boss this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah.
used Matt Boss too.
We started using it like just my senior year.
Mm.
Pull it up. Let's see. Matt Boss. You guys use Matt Boss too?
Yeah, it's funny because I was telling you that my senior year was a good year. Like, that was the highest we had been ranked in a while. And junior year paved the way for that because junior year we had 2 seniors on the team.
Yeah.
Out of, like, it was probably, like, 60-kid team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So nobody old. So we knew that was going to be a development year and did not do as good junior year as a team as we hoped for. The coach was, like, really on top of us. And so that year was tough. Like, that year was a haul.
I'm not getting it, dude. Fuck, what's my password? I don't even have access to this email anymore. They deleted this email.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's tough. There might be a way if I sign in. I feel like on Matt Boss on the computer part, you can watch anybody's match.
But, like, I don't think it's public.
No? Yeah, it might just be kids from my school.
One last try.
Dang. But junior year was like...
No,
fuck.
Sorry.
Those were the dog days. Like, we worked junior year so we could enjoy senior year. It was
Can we
great.
keep trying?
Oh, Petty's your school?
Yeah. You heard about it?
No, I think I remember...
Dude, I'm
you
so
sending me something that you went to high school there.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm going to try to do this later.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
Let's get our podcast back up. All right, yeah. So your school did 0 recruiting.
They started to do a little bit
Okay.
my senior year, but I don't think either of those kids ended up coming.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin actually wrestled for my high school, but he lived in Eisenhower, which was probably 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
So he would drive by like 4 high schools to go to my high school to wrestle because they were really good at the time.
Yeah.
And because he had done a lot of youth wrestling there. So they kind of recruited him, and he ended up having the second most wins in Oxford wrestling history.
No way.
Yeah. The guy's a legend. He wrestled for Michigan State after.
Your cousin, you said?
Yeah, my cousin.
That's sick.
Yeah.
He's in Michigan State right now, or is he already graduated?
He graduated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Michigan State is D1, no?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, he was good.
Wow.
He was good. I was talking with one of these coaches about him, and he said that another wrestler, he would be giving him advice during the match, like an animal, but you'd have to coach him. But my cousin Alex, he would just sit back and watch the show. He said he was just so smooth, like so beautiful to wrestle, to watch.
It's satisfying to watch it.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like after I wrestled, it's the most satisfying sport to watch now when you kind of understand it. It's you're seeing these little things people are doing and how it all comes together like an art, as we were talking about before. I think that's one of the coolest parts about the sport. And I feel like a lot of people can enjoy watching the sport, but I feel like once you've done it, you can understand it at a different level.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Amazing.
sure.
So yeah, now you're doing BJJ. Have you started yet?
I did a practice.
Yeah, I did one practice.
You and I were going to go to one too, right?
We were, and we didn't.
I got to let my knee heal up and then we'll go.
Yeah. You never told the story. So your back was fucked. And your
Oh,
knee
yeah.
was
So
fucked.
basically
Yeah.
from doing all those pull-ups, I think, and then from wrestling every day, that brought out some bigger muscular imbalance I had where I was overcompensating with my upper traps and shoulders maybe instead of the lower traps, which a lot of people do. It's like lower traps are like a postural muscle. So working my back that much
Are they
brought
used
out
for different
that.
things? Your upper traps and lower traps?
I think so. It's like upper traps are used, they say, for like raising your arms above your head. And then lower traps. I guess lower traps are more of pushing.
Postural.
Pushing?
Oh, pushing.
Or no, I mean upper traps are more of pushing.
Okay.
Lower traps are raising your hands above your head and all, and like
Okay.
bringing your shoulders like down and back.
Yeah.
I mean upper traps are like shrugging
Yeah.
motion. But I think just the sheer volume of those back exercises brought out that imbalance. And it was like I would do 12 pull-ups for my first set after practice, and then it's like I could only do like 6 at a time.
Yeah.
And then it was like 3, and then I couldn't even do a pull-up.
I think I like so many more.
And then I
to go.
couldn't even do a pull-up with a band.
Dude, oh my
So,
god.
like, you can imagine, like,
Yeah.
without being able to use my back,
Yeah.
I went from it being the greatest wrestling season of my life, I thought that I seriously, if I wrestled well enough, I could beat anybody. Like I just felt so strong.
You look really
even
good in
though-
the videos I watched. It was nice to watch it.
It's so real. You can tell it's not completely clean, but I was like, if I clean
Yeah.
up all this stuff and wrestle as good as I can, then I think I could beat or give a good match to anybody. But then not being able to use my back, it just made it so much harder to get up off bottom. Really,
Yeah.
and have enough strength.
So
Wrestle in
the
general.
knee came out for that.
The knee was before that. The knee was
Before.
junior year.
So that
I was
were they
already
connected
wrestling
in
on
some
one
way?
knee.
Because I know you said that you kind of overcompensated from the excessive volume.
I don't think so, unless it was like walking mainly on one leg.
Yeah.
Made me.
Cause I know that
Use my
fucking up your ankle
back.
can like fuck up your
Oh.
hips.
Yeah.
Like is something like that at all?
It could have been something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think so mainly though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But now my knee's getting stronger. I think I was overusing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like when I only watched like 2 of your matches, but I think that it seemed that you found a cool way to work around it.
Yeah.
Like you're resting on one knee. It kind of helped you develop like other parts of your style, which might have made you a more well-rounded overall wrestler.
Yeah,
which
because
is cool.
you think people wrestle on one knee anyways. Like some
Yeah.
people love doing 3-point.
Yeah.
And it is more efficient because you're lower.
Yeah.
You're lower.
And more protection. I mean, it's better than standing straight up like you were doing before.
Yeah.
And you found out, wait, this might be better. Yeah.
So if you can't pull up your match, can you narrate us through what happened?
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. Yeah. So we're at a rival school. So typically when we have long drives before a wrestling match, I personally like that a lot better because you kind of zone out on the bus and sleep.
Mm.
And it's usually like we're leaving at 4 or 5 in the morning to go. A lot of the schools we wrestled were like hours away, so we'd go early in the morning.
Yeah.
And the team we were wrestling that day was our rival in our hometown. So the drive was 5 minutes. So like shit, we we're already there. No time to sleep. But we got to leave a little later though. But it was a tri-meet between us, Heightstown, and some other school.
Okay.
It's been a while. And I remember we first wrestled. I think Heightstown first. I'm trying to remember. No. We first wrestled the other school. So Heightstown, who was hosting the tournament, got to watch that match. And then we faced. Then Heightstown faced the other team.
Yeah.
And then Heightstown faced us.
Okay.
So we had that break in between.
Okay.
So Heightstown was like somewhere on the corner. It wasn't even there for the first match between us and the other school. So we wrestled them. I was lightweight. I kind of went early on, and I feel like I wrestled the worst match of my life. Because the kid I was wrestling, he was pretty good, not going to lie. But I got pinned pretty early, and I feel like I felt weird. I felt weird going into that match. I feel like I wasn't in the right headspace for some reason. I just kind of felt shitty. I kind of felt sick in my stomach a little bit too, but I kind of went out and wrestled, and I feel like I wrestled so trash. Like I wasn't like in good position at all. He easily got a shot on me that he shouldn't have, and then I'm already on my back. I'm like fuck, and I couldn't get off my back. I was in a cradle, and I was like, it was that quick, and I'm off, and I'm like, that was terrible. Even my coach told me like, what are you doing? Like that was terrible, and I'm like, damn, that sucks. And we have that long break, and I go to the bathroom, and I let out diarrhea out of my stomach. And the second I shit for like 10 minutes straight, I felt a lot better.
Yeah, I would bet.
We're sitting in the stands as the other school versus Heightstown, and Heightstown turns all the lights off as they enter, and there's a spotlight on the wrestling mat. There's a spotlight there, and they come in, and they got music blasting, some rap music, and they come in, and they're doing their warm-ups, and they look so cool. The spotlight, I've never seen something like that, because all the lights in the gym are off and just a spotlight. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen that, but all the experience you've had.
We had one like that in my last.
Because I feel like for most wrestlers that I talk to, like, oh, that's common, like people do that, but we never saw that before. We never wrestled a team or done it ourselves, where there's like a spotlight in the middle, and there's like one like light that's coming down like a cone. It was so sick. But they did their warm-ups, and then they kept the lights on even for the whole match. So there would be a spotlight on the two people wrestling, which is really cool, because it wasn't even like some crazy big tournament or anything. It was just like a home dual meet, try meet. So yeah, they wrestled, they destroyed the other team, and they're gonna destroy us too. They're a lot better than us, and yeah, I think the second person to go out. So I think 106 goes out. Our 106 guy, he fought pretty hard, but he ended up losing the match. He was a freshman, but he did fight pretty well that match. 113 we forfeited, and then 120 I was up. And I'm already like, damn, I wrestled a shitty match. I can't let that happen again. and I'm wrestling this guy, and
What was your mind like going into that match then?
it was a lot better than the first one because I think the first one I was in my head a lot and I was having pretty shitty thought patterns. But I think the second, the spotlight was on, and they all had walkout songs, which again we've never seen that before that match. Walkout songs I think are pretty common. I've seen in a lot of public schools, but we've never seen that before. And these guys had walkout songs, and there's some pretty cool walkout songs. They got me like in the right mental state. And for some reason, like the first match I went in stressed, but that match I went in excited. So I'm in that mental state now where I kind of like really appreciate wrestling. And we talked about this before. Like it's such a stressful sport, and pretty much every tournament is stressful as fuck. But in that moment, I felt so excited to go in, and I kind of go in. We're wrestling, and I'm actually doing pretty decent. I was in the lead at the end of the first period. I think I was up 4-1 or something like that. I choose bottom. Took me like 30, 40 seconds, but I got out. Then I scored another 2 on him. I get in a pretty bad position where he shoots a shot at me, and I kind of landed bad. But I got out of that position, luckily. And then I think in the second period, I get him in a pretty good position, and then I get him almost about to score 3 on near fall, and then I get him in another bad position. He's fucked now, and I pin him right there.
Nice.
And it was fun because like it's on their senior night in front of a home crowd with the lights shining, and
in front of their crowd, right?
Yeah.
Too.
And we did get destroyed in that match, but at least I won that match, and it was memorable just because of the whole event and like how cool it was, how special that day was for them and me as well, and how the first match compared so drastically different than the second match.
Yeah, sometimes you need that. You need that get back.
Yeah, I think appreciating the game a lot helped me to do better throughout that season. But yeah.
I think that's funny that you got hype off of their walkout songs.
I know,
and
right?
their spotlight's like meant to
Yeah.
intimidate you, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is sick.
What about you, man? What was your best?
We had something like that where our rival high school had us wrestle on their stage, like in their theater.
No way. On a stage,
Yeah,
dude?
it
That feel different?
I was so nervous. That's the most nervous I've ever been for a wrestling match in my life because it was my sophomore year. I didn't wrestle my freshman year,
Yeah.
and I came back sophomore
You took a
year.
break that year? Or injury?
Yeah. I did hurt my back 8th grade,
Yeah.
but I honestly got lazy. Like I wasn't like handling the workload right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I didn't love it. And you know how like you like working out and like you like wrestling because it's hard? Like I couldn't appreciate it then. You know, like I didn't see it for the character development and all. I was just like, I'd rather be playing Fortnite with my buddies.
That was COVID too, right? Right after COVID.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
But it's nice that I took that year off because then I came back and I could appreciate it. And I've heard about that happening with some like even Olympic wrestlers. It's like they stop and then they realize how much it means to them and like they need that challenge in their life.
You know what's funny? The person I was showing you the video of today talked about the same thing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he took a break too.
Yeah, sometimes it's what you need, and then you realize what you're missing, like how big of a part of you it is.
It is big.
Yeah. So
Try that
so
camera.
then, come again?
Check the camera real quick. You good?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's keep going.
So then I had come back sophomore year, and guys on that team that year, like the seniors, they were like the men. You know, like those guys were my heroes, and I wanted to make the team proud and everything. We were wrestling against our rivals. Apparently, they had lost the past couple of years, and it was a really, really big match. Like, would have been great to win. So I'm sitting here in these theater stands, like trying to get something in my stomach, you know, eating an Uncrustable, and just freaking out. And I end up going against this kid that's probably got a foot of height on me.
Oh.
Yeah, so lanky. I don't know how he could have
What's kind of disadvantage?
weighed
right?
the same as me. Yeah, but he ended up being completely dead on his feet. I caught him in a 3/4. Like, he shot in on me. Kid was JV kid, like backup, you know? They just had that open spot in the lineup. And I got him in a 3/4, like hand on the head and then other hand through the arm. Walked it around, pinned him, like first 50 seconds. It felt so good.
15 seconds, it's fun.
Yeah,
What's
it's probably like 50.
How many times have you gotten pinned in your career, or at least later on?
High school, only twice, and it was
that's
both
impressive.
both my sophomore year.
That's
Yeah.
good.
It
It sucks getting pinned, bro.
I know. Makes you want to like punch a wall.
Yeah, my first year, my sophomore year, I got pinned so much. Slowly it went away. But
Yeah, that's how it is when you start though.
Yeah.
You like learn to fight off your back.
Yeah.
But I would say my favorite match, if I had to pick one, we did this duel called the Honor Duel where we would go to it's like Plaza in my hometown. We called it the Legacy Center. And we invite the whole town to come and watch. And we went against the high school that new assistant coach came from, actually, Richmond, who was always pretty good. And, of course, they start off at...
Like 136.
I think they started off at 150, and I'm 144.
Oh, that's the worst.
So I'm last to go.
I like being first.
I'm last to go.
Yeah.
And, of course, the match is close enough that if I get pinned by this kid, you know, and I haven't been pinned in 2 years, then my team loses.
Yeah.
But so all I have to do is not get pinned, and somebody even told me that. And this was still at the start of the year where I told you I felt like I could beat anybody. So I'm not kidding. This is what I felt like. I felt like I was a lion. Like I'm not even joking. Like this is what was going through my mind. Like I was like a lion being let out of its cage. And this kid that I was about to wrestle was just a normal like guy. And I was like, I'm about to go. I'm literally about to tear. I'm like,
I've never had that feeling, but I feel like it'd be cool. That confidence you go in with, that arrogance almost. It's like a good feeling, you know.
It was, and I was like, I don't need to worry about not losing that because I'm gonna end this kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we get out there. I had a lot of energy right out of the gate. Like I go in for like that slap single.
Is it the match I watched?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
no.
So you go off that slap single a lot.
Yeah, I
That's your
did.
move.
I did. Yeah, I went down on one knee, went out for the slap single. The kid and I ended up dancing around each other for a while. He grabs my leg, and then, I'm not kidding, I don't even know what happened. I just ended up ripping a whammy headlock on him, took him straight to his back, threw the grapevines in, and pinned him.
Wait, how many seconds was it in the match?
Probably like 50.
Okay.
Another 50.
Damn. Headlocks look really cool. They're probably one of the coolest moves to watch.
But I didn't even have it locked up. Like, it was just the motion of it. Like, because
you kind of he's kind of over there.
Yeah. Like, his weight was in the wrong spot because he had my leg.
So you had enough momentum to take it.
Yeah, while we were standing up.
Yeah.
While we were standing up, and I still had probably a whizzer in. So then I just went hand across the face, took him to his back.
Wow, that must suck for him.
And then it's like, you know, my whole like, you know, they invite the whole town. Like, they say the whole town's watching.
This is the one on stage?
No, it's not on a stage.
That was a 15-second one?
That was still 50 probably,
okay.
I would say.
Yeah.
But that was on the stage. This wasn't against a rival high school or anything. But because of the significance, it was cool. And because there was a bunch of kids that had graduated from before and other wrestling families there. You know, a bigger crowd than you're used to.
Yeah. So it always
and
is
because
more
it came
memorable
down to me.
Yeah.
Because it was the last match.
Oh, yeah, that too, dude. Was it close? Like, did you win the match for them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, we would have
That's important
lost it
detail.
if I got pinned. So all I had to do was
Oh.
not get pinned.
Okay. That's
But
still fun, though.
I was gonna do more
You
than just not
secured the
get pinned
match,
because
you
it
know?
wouldn't have felt good. You know,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been a good loss if I just went out there
Yeah.
like got.
At least you
majored,
secured the win,
teched.
like, fully. Like, yeah, we won this shit.
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
closed it off. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel as a... Okay, you've wrestled, I think, at 144 junior year, right?
Junior year, I cut down to 126.
Whoa.
Yeah,
From what?
I was walking in to the room at the start of the year like 145.
That's a big cut, dude. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it depends
What
like
time
how
period?
lean you are.
What time
lean.
period was this? Like, how long? A month?
Well,
Do you guys have weight certs?
yeah, we had something like that. They called it the Alpha.
The Alpha?
Yeah. Like
Why are they called the Alpha?
That's just what the name of it was, I guess. That's like the organization or type of test. But they test,
Okay.
they check the fat on all these different parts of your body.
Just
Same
body
thing
fat
with you.
percentage, all
Yeah,
that,
and then
yeah.
make sure you're not dehydrated.
Yeah.
And then that says how much you can cut.
Yeah.
And it was in my Alpha to cut to 126.
No way. From 145?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I wasn't too
You
lean
might have
or
had some
anything like
lenient...
that.
maybe because your body fat percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's
But when
interesting.
I was 126, like when I made scratch for the first time.
You're probably ripped, dude.
Yeah. I wonder if I could pull the picture up.
Yeah. Hey, send it to me
Probably
after.
not.
I'll put it up on the screen.
Okay.
Hey, you have it on this computer?
No,
Probably
probably
not, yeah.
Probably not. No, my brother just sent it to me the other day,
Yeah,
but
that's sick.
I was shredded in that picture
So,
for sure. And then
You're-
I hurt my knee when I was trying to make it the second time. When I was just trying to make like the allowance, so I only had to make 128.
wow, okay.
And I think my body was just so tired.
So this is like halfway through the season then.
Yeah, like end of the season. Like it was the night before districts. Actually, I hurt my knee.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
my drill partner took a shot on me and my leg like rubber banded like back
It's worse
and
when it
forth.
happens in practice. It doesn't feel as cool.
No. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But at least you don't lose the points
Yeah.
like then and there.
I broke my elbow in the first month I started wrestling. I'm glad I came
How?
back.
How did that happen? Yeah.
I feel like when you're a new wrestler, you don't really understand it.
Yeah.
I think with time, I mean, obviously with your experience, you definitely understand it. But I think even after 2-3 years, you start to understand like how the movement feel, like good position, bad position.
Oh yeah.
I
So
think-
like you would know to tell somebody
Yeah.
to stop.
Yeah,
Or like know
that
how to
too,
fall.
but also like how to fall when you're getting shot on, when you're on top. Like don't do stupid shit. Don't put your arm like this or some stupid shit.
Yeah.
And I think I started wrestling a month into the season had already started because I was like 105 pounds at the time, and two of my friends from the gym were like, "Yo, we need a 106 pounder." They're both on the wrestling team, so they got me to join, and I thought it was pretty fun from the beginning. But since I didn't go through that beginner phase. Like in the beginning of the season, they went to the basics again for all the new kids,
Yeah.
JV kids. I didn't have all that, so I kind of just like, get thrown to the wolves and trying to figure shit out. And I was wrestling live with this kid, and this kid goes tough every time. He does not give a fuck, and I actually respect this kid a lot because he started off freshman year of high school, and he's a senior now, and he's gotten really good. He won the award last year for most improved wrestler.
Nice.
He genuinely put a lot of time in, and he got really good. But his attitude, like he goes hard every time. He does not give a fuck who he's wrestling. He's gonna make you go through it. So and I'm just a new guy over there, and he's like going hard on me. He's like slamming my head into the mat, and he shoots a shot on me, and I fall backwards like this. Can you believe that? Like someone shoots a shot and you go ah.
Like you
that.
try to catch yourself.
Yeah, because that's like your human instinct for some reason. And I fall on this elbow and go snap. And I didn't really understand what injury felt like back then because I'd never injured anything. So I was like, this hurts. That kind of sucks. I told him, give me a minute. I thought I was kind of being weak because like he's like, bro, what are you doing? We're going live. He's like, give me a second. I'm like, ugh. They're like, fucking practice almost over. Let's get to the end of practice. And then guess what we're doing at the end of practice for conditioning?
Push-ups.
Push-ups. And I'm literally there like everyone's like no one's looking at me. They're all doing their own thing, but I'm kind of feeling like everyone's looking at me. I can't even do a push-up properly. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Something's wrong.
And you think like nothing's wrong, and I'm just being like weak. Like,
Yeah,
I need
that's
to
what you
push
tell
through this
yourself. When
pain.
everyone around you is like, you're the first month there. Like you're a new kid. Like you're like I gotta be a wrestler, right? So trying to figure this out. And I started doing those baby push-ups. Even my coach is looking at me like, what are you doing? Like I'm on my knees and I still can't do a push-up. Like something's gotta be wrong. And then afterwards I'm like, it'll probably be fine tomorrow morning. So I go to bed and I couldn't sleep all night. It's the worst. I mean, like, you know when you go to bed and you have a sore throat, it sucks.
Yeah.
I feel like this is 10 times worse than that. Every time I move my elbow, there's no comfortable position. It would pain and agony. And by the time I woke up the next morning and I couldn't put a jacket on, I'm like, okay, I think something's wrong. Let's go get it checked out. So I go to boarding school. So I went down to the nurse in the boarding school. So it took me 15 minutes to put a jacket on. Because I had to put my shirt on, then my sweatshirt on, my jacket. Because my elbow was like this. And if I go like this, it hurt. I can kind of remember the pain right now. I was like, ah. But yeah, they checked me out and they're like, yep, you broke something for sure. I couldn't even extend it fully. Got I don't think it was an MRI, but some X-rays done. And,
Yeah.
they checked everything out.
Did
Luckily,
they-
it was a minor fracture though.
Did they have an X-ray there?
No, I had to go to. My dad came. He lived like 45 minutes away. He came pick me up, and he's like getting mad at me. Oh, you should have told me about this last night. And I'm like, it's fine. But we got the X-ray done, and yeah, it was luckily a minor fracture, so I didn't need any serious cast or anything. They just gave me a brace for a little bit and heal on its own. So
I hear sometimes when you break your elbow or another bone, they have to break it fully in order for it to heal right.
Luckily not
So
for me.
I'm glad that wasn't your story.
that would have sucked. Yeah, and like some people are trying to pop things back in and stuff. That's what my roommate was telling me to do. Yo, let me just pop it back in for you, bro. I'm like, dude, chill.
Yeah, could you imagine that would have turned out bad?
Yeah.
That's good you didn't break it more either.
Yeah.
When you kept wrestling.
I might
through
have.
the rest of the
Maybe that's when I
practice.
broke it. You never know.
So how long did it take you to go back to practice after that?
I was out for the whole season.
Yeah.
I missed my whole sophomore year. So I really only had like 2 years of wrestling experience.
Yeah.
But it was fun while it lasted. You know, I loved it a lot.
So were you gonna come to the BJJ practice with me just as like a one-time fun thing, or
No, I mean,
are you
I'm
interested in it as well?
I wrestled enough where I feel like I'm a wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't feel like a new thing to me anymore. Because even though it's been to you, it's probably a short time. Because you've been wrestling since what, 3rd grade?
Like 5th grade.
Yeah, that's a long time. Like, but I still feel like it's been a long time. Like sophomore year feels like a long time ago. I wrestled all of junior year. I wrestled in the off season to a club. So
Okay, that definitely changes.
So I feel like I
things.
know how it works. And my record wasn't the best senior year, but it was better than. I think junior year I probably only won like 2 or 3 matches the whole year, and then junior year I won like 8 or something. So I was happy with progress. That's all I really care about. But I mean, if I were to go to BJJ, like I'd probably still understand stuff here and there. But I was interested for sure in like if it was fun to keep doing it. But I don't know. Right now is a weird time where I'm trying to figure out what I actually want to do with time. But so you're not gonna lift this term? That's the plan.
Probably not. I'm just gonna use it. Hopefully, heal my body up.
Well,
Get back to being able to do anything.
You're
know?
pretty limited in what you can do in the gym right now too.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw me like doing like the rehab exercises I was doing, but even
I'd make fun of you. Come leg press, bro.
What'd you say?
Come leg press. Nah, I can't leg press.
But even doing those pistol squats, like I got really good at the body weight stuff.
You were good.
But then something with my body not recovering enough, like overdoing it, or I don't know what. But I stopped being able to do those as well either.
Which ones?
Pistol squats.
Even the ones where like you're 1 foot on the bench. Those.
No, I didn't try those, but I would do other exercises like ATG split squats. I don't know if you watch if you've watched the knees over toes guy on YouTube.
I know who he is, but I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a lot of good stuff.
Should I pull him up?
Sure, but he has this forward lunge. You could probably look up ATG split squat.
Yeah. Fuck, where's your Google at?
It's the like yeah, there.
ATG.
Yeah, ATG split squat.
Is by knees over toes?
Yeah, a picture should pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's there, like where you really put your knee over the start of your toe, and like I do that, and
So it's just more extended. That's the big thing.
yeah, like I would warm up into it as easy as I could, but then my knee would click and it would just feel weird and like not it would feel wrong. You know what I'm saying?
That's the worst feeling.
Yeah, and then the lifts that I was still doing were just weaker, so I took it as a sign like this isn't what I should be doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're trying something not getting the results that you want, you got to try another way.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought,
Well, that's
I'm gonna
smart.
stop like waking up early to work out, sleep more, get better sleep,
Yeah.
and then stretch, like try to reset my body, get over all of those
That's smart, dude.
weird tightnesses in areas. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'll get back into it.
Well, hopefully, what you're doing works, and hopefully we can get you back in the gym soon. Cause I'm gonna miss you there. Look at this guy's calves, bro.
And
Dude, I want those calves. Fuck.
you know,
Massive.
like them talking about the difference of having big calves versus short calves, where it's actually like big calves are worse for athleticism.
I think I've heard
short
about
calves
that.
are better, like smaller.
I think
calves.
like a lot of sprinters have talked about that. Yeah.
They say it's like better for sports, better for
Yeah,
agility
That's
too.
interesting. Probably for wrestling too.
I would bet.
Yeah.
You should wait. Can you pull up my cousin?
Yeah. What's his name?
So it's Alex, Alex, and then it'll be H.
Oh, your
Cra-
last name?
Yeah, no, not my last name, but it's another crazy Greek last name.
Okay.
R-I-S-O-P. Chris.
You can't spell it either.
O-L. Okay, there it is at the top. Alex Chrysopoulos.
Oh, you missed a
Oh,
C.
wait, no. There's no. Oh, actually, never mind. Just do Chrysopoulos. Hey, go backspace. Sorry. U-L-O-S.
All right, let's play a game. I'm
Yeah,
trying to pronounce this. Who can pronounce it? Nobody's ever pronounced it before. Alex. Oh, you already said it though. Alex Heropoulos.
Chrysopoulos. Yeah.
Heropoulos. Okay.
So search it up because his dad.
Does he have big calves? That's all I care about.
I want to see because I want to see like a typical wrestler build, like see if he does or not.
The Sim? This is a hockey guy.
Oh, I don't know why it's not.
Well, I saw the
him.
first one was
Yeah.
Michigan State.
The man right here. So his dad immigrated with my dad
This guy?
to America from Greece. Yeah. And
Greek names are so cool.
so crazy story. You hear about this happening a bunch where people shorten their last names.
Yeah.
And must have been his grandpa.
Uh-huh.
When he was writing their family's last name, the C wasn't clear enough. So whoever was dealing with their immigration papers just saw it as Chrysopolis instead of Chrysopolis.
No way. That's the story?
Yeah,
And he
so
stuck
we
with
still
it?
call them like the Chrysopolises, you know, and like in family Christmas cards,
so
stuff like
funny.
that, invitations.
Legally, no C.
Yeah, legally no C. They're the Chrysopolises.
That's so funny, bro. He went to school too, Oxford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Isn't it
so
crazy?
sick.
Weight in college, 140.
Yeah, that's a great photo right
149
here.
pounds.
I like his fist.
Yeah, seriously. Wait, see if
Yeah.
you can scroll down and if there's like
More photos.
yeah.
Let me search up wrestling.
Okay.
Is that a AI Copilot?
I think so. Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, there we go. Hey, no
Oh yeah,
calf.
it must have been him in high
You
school.
kind of see his calves. Giants?
Oh yeah, win 200. You know how it's a big enough deal for kids to get to 100 wins?
Yeah.
High school, like their mom brings out the poster and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, he got to 200. Oh, I remember watching this match of his
Yeah.
after.
There's Iowa too. Damn.
Yeah. No, he didn't. He didn't pull this one.
Did I
out.
tell you? You know,
No, Iowa's stacked.
what's that guy's name? Fuck. Who just
Oh,
got
Tom Brands, the coach.
No. This guy was just recruited. Leo DeLuca. He was just recruited to play at Iowa this year.
For what?
Wrestling.
Really?
Yeah. And I almost wrestled him. He was one seat away from me in the. Obviously, like in the bracket, he was like one bracket away from me, and I lost this match. I would have wrestled him. He's at this is his first season in Iowa this year.
Dude, he must have been cracked to go to Iowa.
He was really good. He went to Blair. You know about Blair Academy?
Yeah, I remember asking
They're our number
you
one
that.
rival in terms of just sports in general, but their wrestling is just way superior to us.
Wait, was that spotlight duel wasn't against them though?
Which one? The one I was talking about right now? No, they're a different rival. Hightstown's like our local rival, like in the same neighborhood. Blair is our long-standing football rival. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, football rival.
We have this
That
big
makes
day
sense.
called Blair Day, and we just have like a giant sports event day. And, it's kind of like a Michigan sports event where like it's like Texas versus Michigan. That's kind of what Blair Day felt like. But we'd all go on a bus, an hour and a half up north, and we just like hang out there all day and watch sports, football, soccer, cross country, everything. I competed when we did cross country. That was fun. But
Oh, you did cross too.
sophomore year.
Was that the last year that you did it?
Yeah, first and last.
Okay, so this is probably two of the most athletic guys I've ever seen. They
So
got like
fun to
normal
watch.
sized calves. I wouldn't call that big or small.
Yeah.
What a transition. Switched from the left side under.
Well, I mean, you don't see like wrestlers don't look like bodybuilders to begin with. I mean,
No,
they're
but
jacked,
I
but
would. I don't know if I'd want to go for a bodybuilder build anyways.
Yeah. You want to be in a position. Is he getting flunked or is he winning?
We'll
right now?
take the lead here
No,
early.
he's out.
So patient on that finish. Staying
Turn this
low,
off though. I don't want to see my cousin get beat.
Yeah, no. He ended up winning the match. We'll see.
Shut up, bro.
Yeah.
No, he coaches now for
That's sick.
the high school in the town that he went to.
Not Oxford.
No, in the town that he lived in. I meant
Okay.
Eisenhower.
He seems like a cool guy.
Super chill.
If he's down, I'd get him on the pod.
Dude, that would be sick.
Yeah.
That would be sick. 200 wins too.
200 wins, like including college or high school only.
High school.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
he
a
does
lot.
Electrical engineering now. So smart guy too.
Smart, and I feel like a lot of wrestlers are smart that I've like met. You know, they're like academically focused. I feel like the lessons you learn in one place kind of translate across. You know what I mean? So yeah, this injury in this last year of your life, I feel like it changed. Everyone I've talked to a lot of people got injured, and it almost like changes their whole perspective on life. And not to get too deep or philosophical here, I'm just kind of curious if you can remember like your life before your knee and back were hurt. I feel like there's so many more limitations placed on you now, in terms of what you can and cannot do. Like I'm sure you'd love to lift if you could, but it's just reached a point right now where it's like the more you do it, it seems like it's hurting the wrong way where it shouldn't be. So I'm wondering how you would compare your life now to before, and even maybe your life at the prime of the injury, or maybe the moment right when you got the injury. Like what were some of the thoughts and emotions that went through your mind?
It's a good question. I'd say probably redirected my attention. You know, you find fulfillment in other areas of your life. You know, before that, it was probably like I kept lifting after I hurt my knee, but it'd be like, you know, I'd do my schoolwork, do whatever sport I was doing. I played tennis too. And then I lift and eat dinner with my family, go to bed, pretty much. You know, that is like on the weekends, catch up on homework, stuff like that. So it gives you more time by not being able to lift, do other things, and then you find other ways to divert your attention, other ways to, you know, you apply yourself in other areas. A little vague. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I had a total perspective change.
Yeah.
That wasn't my
fine.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try that camera real quick.
Okay. Is there anything that... Oh, I have 2 questions for you.
Oh, for me?
Okay. Is there anything that you wish people would ask you? Like anything that you want to talk about so badly but don't get to enough?
On the podcast.
Anywhere. Like just conversations that you're like, dang, dude, I wish somebody would like ask me about like what bear I thought would win in a fight between them all. You know? Something like that.
That's a question I would have never expected. What's a question you've always wanted to answer but no one's ever asked you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Or like what's something that you don't get to talk about enough? I mean, it could even be like another hobby of yours or...
That's interesting, man. 'Cause I feel like a lot of these conversations follow my curiosity.
Yeah.
So I end up, whatever I do want to talk about gets talked about, I guess. But I will say, I guess in a lot of podcasts I've done, they start off as a conversation but kind of become an interview throughout it, where I start asking so many questions to dig into someone's life and to understand them.
Yeah.
That I kind of wonder, like, what would it feel like sitting across from someone doing that? Not that I'm perfect at it.
Yeah.
I look at Joe Rogan as someone who's really good at it.
Yeah.
You've watched Joe Rogan as well. And
Yeah.
you can tell in some episodes, like, he digs into somebody. Like, he sees them as a block of clay that he's molding into a statue.
No, you think like the interviewer does shape the story
It does. Yeah, he does.
a lot.
So I wonder if I was just sitting back and someone was interviewing me with someone who was skilled interviewing me. I feel like there are a lot of bad interviewers, and I feel like I've been a pretty bad interviewer for a lot of these episodes. I'm slowly getting better because I feel like
Never perfected craft.
yeah, I'm gonna keep working on it. I feel like what I've noticed, I spent a lot of time thinking about this because I'm like constantly obsessing over interviewers and like how they do it, and just podcasters in general, like the art of conversation. And we're talking about the Dale Carnegie book. I read that over and over again because it's so applicable to the podcast.
Yeah.
But I feel like bad interviewers don't listen. They just ask questions.
Mm.
It's almost like they're reading off a list of questions. And when I watch a podcast, I can tell someone's doing that. It's almost uninteresting. A lot of interviews are like that. There's always someone who's severely unskilled or unknowledgeable in life experience, like some reporter with a microphone out, just reading off a list of questions and then the person just answering them. Like you'll see that at the end of a sports game, right? Some reporter will go up to LeBron James at the end of he just broke the all-time points record or something. Like, how does the moment make you feel? And just like go off a list of questions, and it's almost like, okay, so what? But I feel like the idea of having a conversation with someone for hours and digging through them is different. And I wonder what it would feel like. I've tried really hard to try to do that in some of these podcasts. This one's felt a lot more conversational about wrestling. I don't feel like I've dug enough.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Thought it was fine. I mean, you and I haven't gotten to talk about wrestling enough. So
That's
I think
true.
that
Never
naturally
really
came
get
up.
to it. Yeah.
No.
But I wonder what it'd feel like. It's not really someone asking me a question, but what it would feel like to be interviewed by a really good interviewer who would dig through me. That would be really cool.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer.
Because it's genuine. It's like what I genuinely think, you know?
Yeah. No, like you're saying with those interviews too, you can tell when people aren't that thoughtful with it because they'll ask something from a question they already had planned that the person just answered. And they'll be like, you know, like I just said, you know, it's almost better to like leave it open-ended because especially after a big moment like something like that or like somebody coming on your podcast, like they probably have a ton of emotion, you know, and stuff that they want to say. So it is better that you don't plan everything out.
And what you did say, like, that does happen, right? Where they'll ask the same question that they just asked.
Mm.
Sure, it's annoying,
answered.
like, oh, I just said that. But more than annoying, it's almost kind of heartbreaking for the person answering because, like, is he actually, I just said so much shit, and did he even hear what I just said? That's probably one of the worst feelings. You know, that's why I like not going with prep. I used to sometimes prep questions like, oh, Navy SEAL's coming on, let me write some questions down. The more and more I thought about it, the more and more I'm like, fuck that. Let's just go talk.
not to get philosophical, but I feel like so many of my decisions are guided by intuition. Like, I will say about myself, I feel like I have a really strong sense of intuition, or whatever you want to call it, like feel. And it is so much better to go off of that. Like, you can just tell when something feels right, like your gut. So it's like you would plan out all these questions, and then, like, you go to read them, and yeah, it could feel like, oh, this is the perfect thing to say. Or you would have a different question that you just thought of, like something that you really want to know. And then it's like, that would probably make better material anyways. My second thing that I wanted to ask, though, was, do you have Mount Rushmore of podcasters?
Yeah,
like
I do.
heroes. Okay.
I
okay,
watch
let's
a
hear
lot
it.
of podcasts. My favorite is Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Basic, but so what? I
Well,
like
he's
him.
He's
the
the
GOAT.
top podcast in the
He's the
world.
GOAT.
Yeah. No. Toxic trait. Some might say I love Joe Rogan.
He's the GOAT. If you actually
Well,
watch him,
I
you can't
think-
hate him. You know what I mean? When you get into him, you can't hate him. You realize he's a cool guy.
I think so too.
Number one's Joe. Number two is probably Lex Friedman.
Okay. I
have
don't know
you-
him. I don't know him as
Yeah, I
well.
can pull him up. I like his discussions are extremely technical. So
Oh.
when I feel like I watch him, I feel like I'm really learning about some cool shit. I can never
So-
find your Google. What is this? Microsoft Bing.
Or it's like, I don't know what that is actually.
Microsoft
but,
Bing. This guy right here.
like, he always has some expert on his
Yeah,
podcast?
usually.
Okay, interesting.
Dude, he get the
I have
craziest
seen
people
him.
on, bro.
I have seen clips, I think. He does MMA?
Yeah,
saw a picture.
jiu-jitsu.
Okay, that's cool.
Not like competitively. I want to find his episode. Let me go to his YouTube. But like, dude, he gets. I feel like if I pulled up his channel today and saw Vladimir Putin interview, I wouldn't be surprised. That's the kind of people he gets on. He just had the president of Argentina on. Like, look at these titles. Like,
No.
yeah, look, dude. So this guy, I don't even. That guy.
That's crazy.
This guy sounds crazy. Volodymyr Zelensky. Who is that?
Voldemort. Wait, isn't that's the bad guy in Harry Potter, right?
Really? Oh no, that's
Voldemort.
Voldemort. Yeah.
my bad.
This one is. I'm watching this one right now. I'm like an hour and a half through it, but it's literally 3.5 hours about alien civilizations and the search for, and it's all technical, which is what's so cool about it. Like, I didn't know you can do 3.5 hours of technical discussion about aliens. Like, what do we fucking know about aliens? And it's crazy to learn about it. And it's like,
Wow,
yeah.
Bernie Sanders. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure each of these people are like the top
So
in their field. Even
They
though I
are. He's
don't
president of
know
Argentina
them.
right here. Graham Hancock's huge. Jordan Peterson.
That's a
Where's your
poll.
team? Where's Trump? Donald Trump. But let me
Wait,
show you.
Craig Jones.
Yeah, he's a jiu-jitsu guy,
I
right?
feel like I've heard of him.
I've
yeah.
watched it. This podcast is really good. He's a BJJ. This one is one of the best ones I've watched. It's 8.5 hours, and it's all about Neuralink.
Dude.
And he basically took together Elon Musk and other guys working the Neuralink team who all do something different. So Elon Musk is the CEO of Neuralink. DJ So, who is the CEO and president. Matthew McDonald, head neurosurgeon. Bliss Chapman, he's a brain interface software lead. And this guy, who's the first human to have Neuralink in his head. And it's like, it's kind of like
They do that?
it's like all the Avengers came together. And dude, this shit's 8.5 hours long and it's extremely technical. And I learned, I never knew I could learn this much about what Neuralink is, but it's
What
really
is
cool.
it? If you could give a brief overview, because
I can give you an 8.5 hour summary if you want. So yeah, Neuralink is. Have you ever heard of anything about it?
No, I have no
So-
idea what that is.
It is a brain chip. They surgically implant it in your brain, and basically what it did, and I can give you examples of what it's able to do. Like for example, with this patient named Nolan Arba, he was a pretty cool guy. He was an athlete. He played sports in college. Excuse me. And he was out at a lake one day in his 20s with a bunch of his friends, and something happened. I don't remember if he was surfing or he was just hanging out on the lake and they're fucking around, and I don't know if he hit a wave or something hit him and he fell to the bottom of the lake. And he described right in that moment he knew what happened. He couldn't move anything in his body, and he knew from that moment, from the neck down, he's paralyzed. So his friends save him. They take him home. The doctors check him out. They're like, he damaged some part of his brain, something related to the motor cortex, that kind of froze everything up, and his motor cortex kind of broke. And the motor cortex is responsible for all your brain's movements. Everything from the neck down is paralyzed. And there's no cure for this. Nobody knows it. Neuroscience is still like up and developing. The last 200 years it's grown exponentially, but there's still a lot we don't know. And yeah, he can't move anything. So thank God he's saying that he can move everything from the neck up because he can still speak and think. And dude, I feel like that's a blessing. Because if you broke this part of you, it's almost like the soul and the life is gone, and that's, ouch. So what Neuralink has been able to help him with is, so the whole team worked with him. He's the first patient they've ever tried it on, right? So he's a guinea pig, and he agreed to it. And what they did was they took this chip, they went through a surgery, they implanted the chip in his brain, and this chip, it has like these wires that come out, and they attach the neurons, and they can basically detect like neurons firing. And when they detect those neurons firing, they can transport them, I think via Bluetooth or something, onto an opposite screen and detect that these neurons fired.
Like the signal?
Yeah, so they can see that we felt this signal here. I don't think it's electrical. I think it's like chemical signals that when a neuron fires. So it detects it firing, and it can read it on a separate monitor, which is really cool if you think about it. Like there's a chip inside his brain, and whenever those neurons fire, they're able to detect it and read it on a separate screen. So when they read the detection of the specific neuron that fired, they associate it with a certain action on the screen. So what it's been able to do is that there are different neurons in your brain associated with different activities, right? So if I lift my finger up like this, there's a set of neurons in my brain that are responsible for, or that are actively firing as I lift that up. If I do this motion, there's a set of neurons, there's like billions of neurons, there's many different wires and combinations. There's a set of neurons that allows me to do that. And like that for every motion in your body, walking, thinking, opening my nose like this, opening my mouth to speak, has a different set of neurons that fire. So they basically tell them, and those same neurons fire even when you think about it. So even if I'm not moving it, but I'm thinking about moving my finger up, those neurons still fire.
Really?
Yeah, it's some weird way. So they ask him to think about different movements. They detect, like let's say your finger moving up. Think about that movement. And they take that and they read the brain signals, and then they kind of copy it down and they save it somewhere, right? And they do that for a bunch of different movements. And then they connect it to a computer so that they can associate me lifting my finger or me thinking about lifting my finger with a cursor on a computer moving up. And through a lot of configuration, a lot of testing, and after a while, you don't even have to think about your finger moving up. You just think about cursor moving up, and the cursor will move up on the screen. So he can control a computer with his mind. And he's really good at it. And then now it's gone so configured and so accurate that literally you can go look at his computer and think about his cursor moving around. He can move around wherever he wants. He can think, a keyboard comes up and he can type. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
And it's almost like it sounds like something in the future, but it's happening right now.
Yeah.
He can control a computer with his mind.
I wonder how that works with, all the fluids in your brain, right? And like the organic material, like how a computer chip can be fine in that.
Yeah, the main thing is just detecting the signal.
Like, or how can even
I think the
attach?
weirdest part is like, okay, first of all, like how is it detecting the signal coming out? But
Yeah.
how precise it is crazy. Like how it can detect the specific neuron that's firing and make a map of your brain and say this neuron's firing that. That's crazy to me.
I think it's cool that they're able to do something with it too. Like, that's cool enough. Say they're just figuring out what path of neurons it takes to do each movement, but to be able to actually like output it on a screen and then let him control that,
Yeah.
that's sick.
It's insane. And the biggest thing I learned from this podcast was that when you think about the people making AI, you think about the people making these technologies, they almost seem like robots. Like we don't think of them as people. At least I didn't.
Like the creators.
Yeah, we just we refer to them. We talk about like Sam Altman. We talk about these people. We don't humanize them. We kind of talk about them in a very dimensional way. But I think when I watched this podcast and I heard the individual stories of all these random people, right? Like this guy, I think this is Matthew McDonald. Yeah, that's Matthew McDonald, head neurosurgeon. And you just hear their stories, and they go into technical stuff, but they also talk about personal stuff. And what it taught me was that they're all human. And they're all motivated by their own internal desires and purposes and meaning, that they all genuinely want to see change in the world in a good way. And that gave me hope, because it kind of shows me that people who do make these technologies are not just a bunch of money-hungry fiends. Like, they care, And that was really special to hear and learn about, and I really internalized after 8.5 hours. These are people, man. Gave me hope for the future. That I'm like, I feel safe with these people making these technologies, It gave me peace.
So you would say you're in support of this?
Yeah, 100%. What are your thoughts on it? in general.
That's interesting.
Do you think?
It's very interesting. It's even possible.
I feel like when people hear about it, they either think that's really cool, let's do it. That's kind of scary. Let's stay away from it. Where do you stand on that?
I think that's awesome, especially for that guy to be able to recreate movement when he can't anymore. Like, I think that's definitely a good use of it.
It's definitely life changing for him.
Yeah.
Because imagine like if you're, I'm sure you can't play sports or anything anymore as you used to, but at least you can do something on a computer. That's a lot. You can work a job working just on a computer.
No, you're right. If he's able to type and everything, move a mouse.
Faster than humans can.
I mean, that, like, think about redirecting your life purpose, you know? I mean, all of a sudden, like, that terrible accident happens to him, and now he's the first human to have a Neuralink device implanted in his brain.
Camera still going?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see where that goes. So then you would say this guy is your second.
Oh, yeah. We
Second
always get off
best
topic here.
podcast.
I
Yeah.
swear. That's what's fun about it.
I know, that is what's fun.
Yeah, let's
You
get
go
back on
down a
topic.
rabbit hole.
Yeah, we can come back to these two topics, though, basically these two questions you asked, because I think we haven't really gotten deep into both those topics, so
Okay,
we'll come back.
okay.
But yeah, I'd say Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman. Number 3, those are my go-to two. Everyone else on the wall would be Andrew Huberman for sure.
I like that
I
guy.
like Andrew Huberman.
I haven't seen too much of his, only his short videos where it's
Yeah.
just him.
He has some good content. I like Modern Wisdom as well. I was big on them in high school. I kind of stopped watching him this year, but I still occasionally hop in. Sometimes it's a little bit too bro science for me, but it's cool. Those 4 definitely. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like outside of those 4, I don't really know. I mean, there's a lot of other ones I watch. Like a friend will send me something, I'll watch it. But I fall back on those. And honestly, I've been watching a lot of old Joe Rogan, like from episode 1000 to 1500. That was a really peak era of Joe Rogan. I really enjoy, like, there's something different about his energy back then. I really liked it. It's hard to describe. Have you watched old Joe Rogan at all?
I've seen a bunch of clips, so I don't know exactly where they're from.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen of Joe recently, he's mellowed out. Well, I noticed lately I saw him commentating on, it was UFC 309 it was John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, and I really like it because he doesn't necessarily take a stance himself, you know? Like when he's interviewing people, he like gets what they think, like their information out of them without necessarily saying what he thinks. You know, like he plays devil's advocate all the time, but he'd be sitting back and he says that's interesting like 15 times throughout the whole UFC night. He goes like, "Oh, like the fans are booing Bo right now. That's interesting." That's interesting because I think he uses that to say that like he wouldn't necessarily have thought about that himself.
I think
that's
that's
what I've noticed from him lately.
Have you watched his podcast too or no?
Not a ton.
Okay. I've noticed that in the podcast too, for sure. I think he genuinely tries to understand the other person's perspective before he comments on it. And he does push back sometimes. Sometimes plays devil's advocate, but even sometimes will say his own opinion, but never get emotional about it. Like he'll genuinely try to understand your worldview before he critiques it, because obviously if you have this worldview, there's probably a reason you have this worldview. You're not just like pulling things out of your ass. There's some logical deductions you're making to get to that worldview. So he's trying to understand it. And I think it's genuine. I think he genuinely, I mean, he has fucking 2,500 conversations with people. He probably does care about what other people think, so.
I think you can tell he does. Yeah, this is turning into a
Joe Rogan fan show.
Joe Rogan fan show.
Yeah.
Joe, please invite us on.
Dude, that's my goal. I think one day I'm hoping I can be on.
Do you watch Athlete X?
No.
Do you know him, like Jeff Cavalier, the
I don't
workout
think I
guy?
know them, no. What are they
Okay.
called? Athlete what?
Athlete X.
Athlete?
Yeah, like AT.
These guys?
Yeah. My favorite fitness YouTuber.
I don't watch
bunch
those fitness
of great
YouTubers.
advice. But he's also a Joe Rogan fan. But I mean, look, almost 14
That's
million
crazy.
subs.
It's more than Joe Rogan. No, never mind. Joe Rogan's more.
But I heard him mention in a video that he'd like to be on Joe's podcast.
Yeah.
But he's never been on. Which is crazy enough. Like I
14
feel like
million.
Joe would hop on that.
No, if
like
Joe
like
knew
Joe,
about
if
it,
you
he
see
would.
this,
Yeah.
you gotta get Jeff on your
I mean, everyone's been on Joe's
show.
podcast. I knew someone in person who's been on Joe's podcast.
Who?
He's actually the old home we used to live in. We rented it out to people now, and literally the people who live there, the one guy there has been on Joe Rogan.
For what? Like, who is he?
He's a YouTuber. Oh, I'm trying to remember his name. Yeah, I remember it. This guy.
Shameless plug, though,
Yeah.
viewers. Watch Athlete X, like workout routines.
This guy right here.
Injury advice.
So this guy literally films in the basement where I used to play video games. Hotep meditation.
What is Hotep?
I think he has a podcast.
Oh, that's like his
History stuff, the hidden agenda behind World War II.
Oh, yeah, I shouldn't let. I thought. Wait, World War III.
Oh.
Okay. I thought it said WWE at first. And I was like, what agenda is
You see-
is professional wrestling trying
He's
to
sitting
push?
in the basement where I used to play video games. The exact same spot with the green screen right now. I saw his studio when we went to the house to check on it.
They will try again. Not a good situation for anyone. I'm surrounded by more men, guns, and weapons than I've ever seen before. Thank you to Congress for unanimously approving far more money to your service. Zero, quote unquote, no votes, strictly bipartisan. Nice to see Republicans and Democrats get together on something. An attack on a former president is a death wish for the attacker. So the people being blamed right here is Iran. I don't want to challenge that. However, I get my bag on this one.
In his bag.
Now, this might not be new to you. It's semi not new to me. But I'm starting to put things together.
But he's a big, I think he goes into conspiracy theories and stuff too. But yeah.
That's what
He's been on Joe Rogan.
Hidden agenda sounds like.
Twice, I think. Here he is.
Wait. That's interesting.
So, that gives me... Oh, they're talking about Jersey, too. That's where I live.
Wait. Play it.
I've never seen a bear in Jersey. I've been hiking there, too.
Bears per capita.
I've heard about this. I don't believe that, though. I've never seen any. I've seen more in other
I
states.
feel like East Coast would not be.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. But Jersey's big, so,
Huh.
Back to the Joe Rogan fan show. That gives me hope, because I feel like if he can be on, I can probably be on, too. If I just get some more subs, I guess. We'll go to
How many are you at right now?
like 400 or something.
Okay.
We'll make it. After this episode, we'll blow up.
I'll tell some of my friends. They want to see this episode.
Yeah, send it, bro. The more you send, the merrier. It helps. It does add up. And our share of viewership has been increasing this week. Like, videos getting more watched.
Oh,
on,
really?
Which is fun. Yeah, that's my Mount Rushmore of podcasts. I'm also on there. I'll put myself on there. Shameless. I was on Spotify. It said like your most watched podcast this year, and my podcast is number 4 for me. So I'll take it.
Gotta know what a real one has to say sometimes. Talk to yourself.
So I want to go back to the first question you asked me, and you said something interesting. I'm trying to remember what you said though, but it got me thinking about free will. Do you remember what you said? You said something philosophical.
Oh yeah.
Like you feel like
What
your
you'd like
instinct,
to
your
talk
inner
about more.
instinct.
Oh. Was I asking you about?
Yeah, you were
how
asking
you feel about
about that.
intuition?
But then you asked me like what I gave you the whole explanation of how I want to be podcasted.
Yeah.
But I think you said something about having no prep. The beauty of having no prep is that sometimes your inner instinct can guide you better than having prep questions. And
Yes,
that's when you start
yeah.
getting philosophical. And right immediately in my mind, I started thinking about like, free will, because I've been reading this book. Right here, and after reading this book, I actually kind of feel like I feel convinced that there's probably no free will. It doesn't bother me much,
No.
but I don't think we have free will.
What do you think is going on then? Like we're just responding to
Yeah.
stimuli and like following what society has already like told us to do?
Not only
Like-
society, but our whole life experiences and genetics we respond to.
Genetics
Yeah.
too?
I think so. And
Oh, like either it's what has been taught to you and you've lived, or what's like programmed by human nature. You're saying.
yes, and then I think the conscious brain thinking that I chose to do this is actually a delusion. I don't know. What are your thoughts on free will in general, though?
I haven't grappled with that one much. I believe in free will. Yeah. I mean, there's influences, sure, but at the end of the day, it's up to you, right?
It's more hopeful and more comforting, I'll say.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
because think about it. Like, you could drop out of college right now.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Hitchhike around the country if you really want to, the world.
But is that because I'm consciously deciding to, or is it biological impulses? Like, okay, it seems like
You're
conscious,
still
right?
deciding.
It seems conscious, right? Because
Deciding,
I'm the
like-
one deciding, right? If I physically drop out
Podcast for this.
of college right now, sure, I decided. But why did I decide? Because physiologically, through evolution, I've developed a really advanced brain. And the advanced brain has evolved and been able to think about this concept of free will. And in response to that, the discomfort in my inner being is responding to that by saying that in order to disprove this negative emotion, my brain wants to feel a positive emotion. And the positive emotion is to prove that free will exists. And they'll do that by having me drop out of college. And then my conscious brain said, yeah, I decided to do that.
But that's going off of the fact that you would only be dropping out to prove free will.
Yeah.
And because the thought of freeing free will would give you gratification. But I don't think that's true.
I'll tell you why I do kind of don't.
Okay. Yeah, this is interesting.
There were two examples of studies I read about that the first one was more of a direct disproof of free will. The second one was more of an interpretation of how we can broadly apply one idea to multiple. But let's start with the first one. So there was an experiment done. I can honestly pull this up too in this book 'cause I just read about it. Oh fuck. I can give you. I think the guy's name was Benjamin Libet. Benjamin Libet.
Okay.
And he did these studies recently. I can pull this up. Slides mine 241. This book has been so good, man. I recommend this to everyone. I want to talk about the books you read too, because you read some pretty interesting books.
I feel like every once in a while you'll pick up a book and then it's right when you need it, it'll change the way that you think.
Yeah, for sure.
Is this how this one's been for you?
It changed the way I think about a lot of things.
When did you start it?
Right before break.
Okay, nice. So you've been
Yeah.
reading it over break.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
can't.
you're almost done with it.
I read this one pretty fast, this cover break, but usually it takes me a lot longer. He ran these experiments back in the late 1900s where he would have a timer set up in front of a person. And maybe if I describe this, you've heard of this before, but he had a timer to the millisecond. So it's going on. It's pretty easy to read it, right? It says 5, 6, 7, and then milliseconds are going on, going. So he said, at any point you want to, consciously decide to lift up your finger like that.
Okay.
And choose a time you want to do it, and as soon as you see that time, do it. So it says going, let's say I decide, okay, at 6 seconds and 28 milliseconds, I'm going to raise my finger. So I look, boom, right at that moment I lift my middle finger because I consciously decided to do it. And at the same time, he had wires connected to the person's brain, and he was detecting the brain signals to determine or at what time does his finger actually rise up according to his camera versus, actually, sorry, I don't think he had they had a camera set up to see the time this went up and the time they told themselves consciously it went up. And they noticed that there was a lag behind, that the finger went up a certain number of milliseconds before they decided for it to go up. A noticeable difference. So like 30 milliseconds later, they're confidently said at 6 seconds and 70 milliseconds, I chose, at that time I'm going to lift it up, but the thing actually went up 30 seconds before that. Meaning that what likely happened is the finger went up, and then the conscious brain saw that happen, and in order for the conscious brain to prove that it's conscious, it will say that, oh yeah, I meant to do that, and convince you. Because apparently every action I do, me saying that I did that action will happen at a later period of time. But it's so small that we don't notice it in day-to-day interaction. But if we expand the time horizon out, it'd be more noticeable. And they were able to prove that in the experiment by doing this on multiple tests and with controlled trials and everything, that the person's finger will noticeably always go up, and then their conscious decision when they say it out loud, I chose to do it at this time, will always be after that.
What else did they apply this to? Did they do that similar idea with other actions?
Yeah, I mean, this is just an example, but it's more of an idea that anything we do, it can't be free will if the action is happening before we said we did it.
What about for bigger life decisions, though?
Like, give me an example.
Like we said, like dropping out of school, or I mean, you could even do meeting somebody, I don't know, like a girl, and deciding that you like them, like you want to pursue a relationship.
Well, I think that's an easier one because I feel like we think we're constantly deciding that, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of things at play, right? Let me give an example. If I grew up, let's say there's two households. Like, let's first talk about the nurture side of it. There's two households, right?
Nurture?
The nature and nurture side of it.
Okay,
Yeah. Sorry, I was a little big. Let's say one person grows up in a household where their parents don't discipline them at all about hookup culture and say, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, we did that a lot back in high school. Like, they promote hookup culture versus a household of parents that are like strongly against it, saying that wait till marriage, yada 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 yada.
Immigrant
yada.
parents.
Yeah. So the actions of those children will be drastically different. Now, one could go against their parents in a way, but they'd feel more guilt associated with it. Versus one person will do it without feeling any guilt, right? So, and we can probably prove this through studies that if you do grow up in household A with the non-strict parents, you're more likely to be attracted or interested in getting with a girl even if her values are not that good, but you just want to hook up. Versus the second person who's probably, because of the way he was raised, whether deliberately or even how their parents' mindsets were kind of developed into them, they would probably be more thoughtful about the values of the person and long-term partnerships. That's a very clear example of how your environment shaped those belief sets, right? That's the first thing. The genetic part of it is that you do have a sexual drive, interest in pursuing women, that is definitely baked into your genetic. Like, that's why everyone has different tastes, right? Like, you can't really explain that with free will. It's like, I prefer this kind of woman, you prefer that, and there are all certain things that we like, and then we're attracted to that because of our sexual desire and need to survive and reproduce. So I think that's a very easy example to kind of disprove free will.
Okay, but then what would you have to say about actually choosing to act on that besides people choosing not to, or like going against what their environment told them?
It's also
it's
genetic.
still up to you that decides at the end of the day. But it's not like your genetics telling you that this is actually the wrong idea, even though it's what I'm used to, Like, say you're talking about the first person whose parents are less strict.
Yeah.
But then they're used to that, but then they have a buddy that also likes the girl, so then they decide, like, okay, I won't pursue that for the sake of this friendship.
So free will.
Yeah, so they decided
Fair enough.
themselves.
Let me disprove it.
Sure, go ahead.
My theory would be that, obviously, it's not so simple as in, like, one influence. There's a million factors in your environment influencing you. And there's something that's genetically so hardwired in us that cares so much about social interaction. And let's think about why we care about social interaction so much. Most animals don't, right? Some animals do have social hierarchies and stuff, but a lot of animals can survive alone for long periods of time. If humans did that, they go mentally crazy. And we have examples of that. Isolated humans completely kind of go mentally insane. It's not introvert versus extrovert. You can be an introvert and still be normal if you're around people.
Mm-hmm.
Some people that are like left in caves and stuff, they'll go insane. Because if you think about humans' evolution and why we rose to the top of the hierarchy, it's not because we had much physical strength. If a human versus bear, a bear would probably kill the human. So why did humans dominate the world, not the bear? One theory is that our brains developed more, which is true, but also that if you notice how humans for the last 100 and 200,000 years evolved, we evolved in tribes. We had groups of people come together and work together and collaborate together. And if you're in the tribe, you survive because we share resources. There's the hunters, the gatherers. Everyone's kind of coming together. And then as families and cultures started to develop, there's like the man who would go out and kill the animal, the woman who would take care of the kids. So if you're part of the tribe, you have a greater likelihood of survival, which is why people care so deeply about friendship. And it's in our hardwires. Like, we care. If people in school don't like us, we start to go insane because like our monkey brain still thinks that if they don't like us, I'm going to be left behind and I'm going to see the bear and I'm going to die. So I think at that point it's like the nurture part of your brain saying that my parents are have influenced my brain in this way, but there's also this inner drive that I can't explain why, but for some reason I don't want to hurt that friendship, and one of them is going to win. Because there are people who care about the friendship, but maybe one is bigger than the other, and they end up getting with the girl instead. And then maybe one is bigger than the other in the other case, where they say that the friendship is more important. Like, I think there's still, I'm not saying one's better than one argument wins in that case. It's still maybe that could prove free will. Maybe what I said was correct. I don't actually know which one, but I think there's an open discussion for both. That it's technically possible still that free will cannot exist.
That's interesting to think about.
God, this talking is making me go insane. Coughing.
Me personally, I could never believe.
Your mic's on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could never believe in the side against free will. I mean, like, think about, you said that you've been making YouTube videos since you were little, before you even did the podcasts. Nobody... I can see where all of your arguments come from, because you see somebody else do that, right? But there's no... all your arguments do make sense, because there is something in our nature, like the nature to want to record certain things.
I think that one comes from the fact that your role models, you really want to imitate your role models, because that they build your kind of sense of reality. And I might have spent a lot of time consuming content from people who did that, so I kind of want to mimic them.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's an example of. But yeah, it's. I will say, when you say that though, do you mean that logically you can't convince yourself that free will doesn't exist, or that what's the point?
I can just not believe. I just can't believe it. Like not only will I not, because I don't want to, but also because it doesn't fully make sense to me, you know?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, well, you go in your question. You go in your question, then I'll ask you something.
So you're a Nico. And,
That I am.
A lot of things that you value as a person, that you care very deeply about. Like, you're a wrestler, and we just had all these deep conversations about your life and the injuries you went through, and your plans for this year with lifting, all yada yada, all these things that are about you, Nico. Let's say you were born in some ancient Egyptian society instead of here in America today. There's some societies, I'm not saying Egyptian, but some Egyptians, like, they would praise the pharaohs, and there's some civilizations around the world that would, like, pray to crocodiles, and they would dress funny, and if you were born there, you would act the same way, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. That's what you're taught, but that's more sociology. Right?
Okay, fair enough. I feel like you don't have any credit for who you are as a person. Not you, but in general.
No, I knew
Yeah.
that's what you meant. But I was still laughing because of how bold of a statement that is.
Like, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't have my experiences.
Well, that's so
Yeah.
true, but you also learn from them differently from how somebody else does.
Is that true, though?
Yeah. I mean, you think you have the same exact environment as somebody, but you respond to your environments differently, which is also part of your natural programming.
But we
But-
can't
but
really
you-
prove that, though.
You take all that in, you know, like, yeah, you're pushed in certain directions by, like, what you know to be right, like what you're naturally afraid of, what you, like, learn that you're afraid of, but then you're the one who ultimately weighs the decisions. You know? So I guess the real free will comes in and weighing two alternate decisions. Because let me ask you this, like, you're in a wrestling match, okay? You want to do two different moves. Are you picking which move you do? Yeah, you are.
We're not.
Yeah, you are.
That's what we're arguing here.
Why would you say that you're not?
The same arguments. There's some biological impulse or instinct saying, yeah, let's do that one. Then, oh yeah, I meant to do that. Wait, so I want to go back to something you said before. That was kind of interesting. There's an argument you made before to kind of, it just slipped my mind. Right before that, what did you just say about why it does not make logical sense to you? Right, sociology. Oh yeah, I remember now. You said that if two people are in the same environment, they respond to it differently.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. Because I feel like it's impossible to prove that because no two people in the world have the same environment. Exactly the same environment.
Yeah, but you think very, very similar, like, even within families, like, two middle children out of a family of 10, you
Mhm.
know, they still grow up and become very different people.
Like what? Give me an example of the differences in them.
Well, you know, like,
It's a big build a storyline.
we all got that crazy family member, like that aunt or uncle, who's just out there, you know, even though they had the same parents and the same sibling as your mom or your dad,
Yes.
you know, but they're kind of off the deep end.
I think that could be true because outside of growing up in the family, like let's say there's a family of all academic students and one of them goes on to play football. There you go. That's your example, right?
Okay.
It's totally different. Like, how do you explain that? Same environment, right? Well, they technically did not have the same environment. Because let's think about, okay, when did he start playing football? Maybe he's at school one day and his friend was talking to him about it. Boom. Thoughts are going in his brain that none of the other ones went through. All of a sudden, different environment. Or he was genetically gifted with an extra height that when they're all together in the same sports class, PE class, right? And they're still all academic students because that's how they were raised. But one kid noticed that he was better than the other kids, slightly, just slightly. And that kind of started entering thoughts in his brain that let's do this a little bit more. Oh, I'm good at this. And then
That's
I feel
true.
like there's always examples of changes. You can never prove exact same environment.
But then, do you think that reasoning doesn't exist, or that your reasons aren't your own? They're all coming from a different stimulus, either like your memory or from your biology. Because I feel like that can't be true, because reasoning gets so complex.
Yes. But I still think that it's not really yours. It's still biological.
Okay, well,
But you know, it doesn't bother me though. Like I feel like that bothers some people. But like, while I say all that, I still kind of believe in consciousness. That sure, we don't decide what ends up happening to us, but we're there to experience it. You know what I mean?
I think that's got to be a given. That's got to be a
Because
given.
I'm here right now, right? You're here right now, right? Are you here right now?
I am here right now.
Are you sure
I was
about
thinking
that?
about something else. I wasn't thinking about
Nico's
my
gone,
answer
guys,
to
no
that
conscious.
question.
Man, it's confusing though. Read this book and we can talk.
Okay, but I would say I'm a person that's easily influenced, honestly. Like, it takes me a while to make a decision sometimes because I like to have a lot of information and not jump to a conclusion. But I take a while before I really pick a side. But as soon as I'm presented with an argument that makes sense to me, then I take it in, like that seems right to me. And so I would ask you, do you think you've been really influenced by this book, though? Like,
yes.
okay, what if you read another book by two other genius neurosurgeons who are like-minded to each other, like the authors of this book are, and if you read that, do you think your perspective would be changed?
It depends on how convincing the argument is. I think that if I were to stick with my current stance that free will doesn't exist, then what would happen to me is that I have this one argument presented to me that free will doesn't exist. I have another argument presented to me that free will does exist. And then either from biological past experiences I've had, my interpretation of them, I think reasoning, okay, let's say reasoning still exists, but you're not the one deciding what the reasoning is. Like one of them will sound better to me, and then I'll end up adopting that mindset. But it's not because I'm here choosing to adopt it. It's because one sounded better to my brain, you know. So
But
reasoning
you
exists.
are your brain. You are you.
Are you though?
Yeah.
Like what am I? Am I just a brain? I don't think so. I think I'm something more. I think there's a soul.
Okay. Well, that as well. But your reasoning mainly.
Well, that's what we were talking about before.
This is
Like, you are your memories.
too trippy to me. I don't think you are just your memories, though. Because if you take somebody's memories away, like they have amnesia, they still
Yeah.
have their personality, you know?
That's a fair point. Let me ask you though, like, give me 10 things about you. Tell me 10 things about you.
Like, are you saying, like, traits?
Anything. 10 things about you.
Like physical or just emotional?
Yeah.
What?
Anything.
Right. Curly hair. Say friendly. Smart. Can I give like 5?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Smart. Easygoing. And likes food.
Mm.
Mhm.
Let's go through each one. Are you friendly?
Because of the whole social aspect of the brain. Okay, but okay, that's trait. Oh, so
Yeah.
okay.
No, but trait's a good example because
can-
the reason, let's say I think of myself as a disciplined person. Okay, but why? Oh, because I have a memory of me wrestling before. But if I never had any memories of me being disciplined, I wouldn't think of myself as a disciplined person. If you had no memories of you being a friendly person or interacting with people, if all those memories were gone, then you wouldn't think of yourself as a friendly person. Maybe you still were, but you wouldn't think of yourself as one.
But are you as you perceive yourself?
Tell me more.
Okay, so say you're blank slated right now. You open you blink your eyes, you open them, and you're like, where am I right now? All right? You're not a huge jerk, though. Like, yeah, you're curious.
Fuck you.
Yeah, you're not going to start going crazy on me and, like, trying to put me in a chokehold because you think I just kidnapped you in here. You will have a natural disposition to try to figure this out and probably be friends with me because you're also a nice dude. But I think
Well,
your traits that are naturally to you and what your environment teaches you definitely pushes you in a direction. But at the end of the day, it's you that weighs out those options and chooses. Because, yeah, you'll be like a disciplined person, and it'll be like your drive to success and to be accepted by people makes you, like, wake up early. And then, yeah, your nature of you being a person and waking up early and your body needing more sleep make you want to go back to sleep. But then you have to decide. And those are two competing factors. So it's not which one is stronger. It's what you believe in and you choose. Because you can use a belief that you have to beat your biology. And it's not always about because you want to be more accepted. It's because of maybe you wanting to improve yourself or just another value that you hold.
why do you want to improve yourself?
Okay. All the reasons that you do something, it's like, yeah, it's a innate human desire.
Loki is though.
Come again?
Let's go. Let's push your let's step away from that. Let's push your hypothetical a little bit.
Okay.
So in your hypothetical, I'm a blank slate, and I'm spawned in here. Okay, how much of a blank slate am I?
I mean, you still remember how to talk, but
Okay.
you remember like what a chair is and everything.
Okay, so I remember everything up to like age 5, age 10. Like, how much are we going here? If I remember what a chair is, then like I probably am like 5 years old.
Let's say you just forget like all personal connection sort of things. Like you don't remember like who anybody is or have any memories with anybody.
Okay.
Or
So I've existed in
or
this world alone?
places. Or places.
So
Well,
what do I remember? How to speak?
yeah, you know how to speak. And
Because
all.
here, my argument would have been, okay, let's say you remember everything up to age 3, and I'm spawned in here, right? You said I'm not going to become a jerk and start yelling at you, but why? Because I'm a friendly person. But let's say there were 2 people who were 3 years old who grew up in different households. One person
Okay.
grew up in an abusive household, and one person grew up in a comforting household. They're going to have a different response to how they treat you, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a friendly person. I mean, I feel like the only reason I would be a friendly person is because of who I've been the last 18 years. I don't think we're friendly by default. Are we? Because I would actually argue the opposite. We're not friendly by default. Because if you look at all of human history, we've been killing each other. If you look at the hunter-gatherers, they had more warfare than we've had in the last 2,000 years.
Hunter-gatherers?
Literally, bro. They were at war with each other every day. Maybe not the same scale and with the same weaponry, but every tribe, let's say all of the world is filled with these like tiny tribes of like 10 to 100 people. Every time they saw another tribe, they fight and they'd kill each other. And they would do fucked up shit. Like, have you heard of what the Native Americans used to do to each other? Native Americans used to capture the other tribe and hang them upside down, put a flame underneath their head, and burn their brains alive. Burn their brains alive. They would cut off their balls and put them in their mouth to torture them.
Oh.
For all of human history, we've been treating each other shitty. I feel like being friendly has been socialized into us. So I kind of disagree with your argument.
See, I can't think that way either. I just phoned that myself.
Anyways, we've gone too far in this. Let's switch the topic.
Okay.
It's just food for thought. Some thoughts I had. And
Did I tell you I'm learning Spanish?
I think you did. I read in your bio.
Oh yeah.
It's good. It's good for you.
I'm watching Money Heist. I don't know if you heard about it on
I
Netflix.
think so.
It's like one of the top shows on Netflix.
When did it come out?
Might have been like 2020.
I think I've heard of it. I'm sorry
Yes,
if I
I-
changed your perspective on the world a little bit. I hope you can retain your.
No, I
Positive-
still think
positive
there's like
worldview.
you do hear about the terrible like messed up things in
Yeah.
human culture, but I don't know how many like records really are preserved
From that era.
that time.
Well, we still have uncontacted tribes today
Yeah.
that we can still observe, and we can make conclusions based on them because they have no connection with the world. So that's at least evidence. But I don't know. I mean, then again, history's all like, do we really know anything? Which is, I don't know. It seems familiar.
It's funny because you even read like biographies from people that are still living, and the way they frame their stories, even if like you've seen the person's story on their own, you're like, where are they getting some of this information from?
That's true.
You know, like historians are storytellers, and they embellish the details. So I feel like to read like a book even on like ancient Rome or Greece, I don't know how much is surviving, but they fill in certain gaps.
They definitely do, and they hype it up maybe too much.
Yeah, exactly.
And they make way too broad conclusions based on very little data. And then it gets interpreted and it becomes common knowledge. But it's a common knowledge. I agree with that point. I think most of history. Yeah.
But in Spanish, it's La Casa de Papel. And I'm watching it in Spanish, obviously, to learn.
So how long
it's
have you
pretty
been learning
crazy
Spanish
so
for?
far. I started in 6th grade. I took Chinese in elementary school. And
Oh, hell yeah.
the
Chinese is tough.
Chinese is tough. Teachers were pretty strict. I felt like I wasn't learning that much, honestly. So as soon as I could get out and we were allowed to switch, I thought Spanish seemed really cool, especially because it's a lot more applicable. Like, yeah, Chinese is good for business, but Spanish is the second most spoken language in the U.S.
It is. Yeah.
You know, so I thought that seemed fun. And,
And you're self-taught.
well, I learned from classes. Now I'm trying to make myself self-taught.
Nice.
I did try to learn it freshman year, but I don't know if we were talking about this earlier. I said sometimes we were talking about this. Sometimes it's less about learning something and more about learning how to learn it. You know, it's like yeah, you can study Spanish words every day, but you're not going to learn the language because there are all of these aspects of it that nobody's going to teach you. Like, you need to learn the fastest, like, not only the fastest but most efficient and an enjoyable way for you to learn that, so that you're going to stick with it, you know. So
That's
it
true.
definitely helps having somebody teach it to you. But now, like, I'm trying to graduate in 3 years. I was going to do a double major, but it doesn't seem like that's in the cards anymore. Not for trying to graduate early. So, you know, we're going to do it on my own. And plenty of people do that. You know, you hear about all these English.
Well, what are YouTube
all these-
videos online? I mean,
Yeah, and all these immigrants to America, they learn English just by watching TV.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's how my dad learned when he moved from Greece.
I wonder if English is the easiest language to learn or not. Because as an English speaker, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely have a skewed perspective, and you
Yeah.
learn a different language in school, and you think, oh, it has like all these irregularities and weird rules.
But so is English.
Yeah, but so does English. But the big difference between Spanish and English, they have so many similarities, which is nice, especially with like a lot of phrases, good amount of sentence structure.
Like direct translation always usually works.
Yeah.
Unlike other languages.
Yeah,
Like
a lot
structures-
better,
Sentence
a lot
structure's
better.
different. Like Japanese, for example, was tough.
That's what you learned.
I tried a little bit. Like I watched like 20-minute video. I wouldn't say I tried learning.
But you probably didn't even know how to approach it because you see like a whole language in front of you. Like, it's been like thousands of years in the making, and
So-
you're like, how would I ever even approach this? But
Interesting.
so it's important to learn how to, just as important as to actually like get up and
Yeah,
like start working, like get committed to it.
I agree. When you were learning Chinese, is Chinese the one that has like hundreds of characters?
I think so, and I think
Unlimited?
Japanese is like a simplified Chinese.
So there's actually
alphabet.
3 different Japanese languages.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wait, I want to first. Okay, so how many characters in Chinese alphabet?
But what I was saying about big difference between English and Spanish is you think in English it's like I run, he run,
Yeah.
you do like he runs, she runs, they run, we run. But in Spanish it's different for each one of those people.
Yeah,
and
same
then,
with French.
oh yeah, that would make sense. They're similar too. And then yeah, different in each like past, present.
Yeah, like il fait, il
And all
faut,
that.
il faudrait. Yeah.
French is so funny sounding to me.
I like learning French. Yeah, I was reading about this and I was fucking mesmerized.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty
That's
sure every word
so
is another
difficult.
character or something. Is that
Every
true?
word. I think so, and I think you can combine them to make a new word though, so
That's
it does get
crazy.
easier.
That's so
but
hard.
like for IB Chinese, I remember my brother took it, and they say you want to know like 300 characters. What do you think
Wow.
about it? Not a whole lot you can do with 300 characters.
Yeah.
You know, it might have been
That's tough. 50,000 is a
300 or
lot.
100.
Because in Japanese, there were 3. I'm not remembering which one was the
Oh,
complex one.
but look, it says most normally educated Chinese people can recognize about 6,000.
That's a lot, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, think there's, that's, let me do the math. That's a ninth. I mean, less than a ninth, not even a ninth
Yeah.
of their total language. I mean,
Yeah,
could
like
you
about an eighth.
imagine?
It's about an eighth.
Wait,
no.
6 times. Oh,
Am I
yeah.
stupid?
Yeah,
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 wait,
yeah. No, you're right, you're right. Yeah, less than an eighth.
Yeah.
Less than an eighth.
Yeah, who made all these characters, bro? Like, who's sitting out there? Yeah, let's do this one and that one and this one.
Well, it's funny how, yeah, languages come into being, and you think, like,
What is this?
I mean, if you had to create a language by yourself, I don't. It's a funny mix. The co-pilot.
Okay, so I think Japanese had 3 different languages.
You think that they never thought to repeat
Yeah.
more of the characters?
So, the simple one was easy. So there's one that was pretty easy. There's one like a simplified version that's kind of like cursive, so very similar. But then there's one that kind of builds off of the Chinese version where there's every word has like a different character to it, and they typically use that one just for people's names and names of places. Like Tokyo
Really?
would be written with that complex one. Nico would be written with a complex one. Versus in day-to-day language, they use the common language. I don't know what it's called. They're just saying the Japanese language here, but I don't think that's what it was called. And then there's another language that is like the cursive way, but it's pretty similar. So, but
Cursive. So is it only used for writing?
I think so.
Okay.
2 written
interesting.
ways, but speaking is probably the same because
Yeah.
they represent the same characters. So
I feel like if I were to learn a language so different, like Chinese or Japanese, I would probably learn first with just speaking.
yeah,
That's what
speaking
I
is
would
probably
think.
easier.
Yeah. They say one of the most important things you want to do when you first start is master the accent,
I agree.
because that's really big to build off of it, and you'll never be understood.
Yeah, especially with things like French that are
Yes.
such a intense. I mean, I learned French and I could speak it pretty okay, but also French in many different areas of the world are spoken with different accents. And if I meet someone from Montreal, I cannot understand a word they're saying, because they roll over like letters a lot, and they can understand that themselves. But like,
Mhm.
I just personally can't understand a word they say.
That's funny. That sometimes makes it feel discouraging to pick up a language
Yeah.
where there's different versions of it. So you're like, this is, you're just first looking into it, like how to learn Japanese, and then it's like, well, what kind of Japanese do you want to learn?
Well, luckily there's
And
like
you're
one main one
"Dang it."
usually,
Yeah.
so that helps. I think it's called kanji.
I feel like
Yeah.
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it says right here.
Oh, okay, nice. But that can make it feel like harder with French. I mean,
Yeah.
like French is spoken all over the world. Like, I don't know if it's a different version in Africa. Like, I know there's a lot of French colonies.
I'm sure they
there.
changed some of it, but
Yeah.
like slang at least.
But I mean,
French slang.
same thing with Spanish. You look up like a word. Like I was looking at, just wanted to know the word for blanket, because the hospital I work at, people will be asking for blankets all the time.
Yeah.
Say they're cold, and I'd like to know how to offer one somebody if they only know Spanish, because we get a good amount of patients that only speak Spanish there.
Oh, yeah, I
And I was
imagine.
just looking it up, and there's like the normal word in Latin America. There's like the Spanish version. There's like a version for just Mexico. And it's like, it's a simple word. Like, you think I would just be able to like say blanket,
Yeah.
and everybody would understand it. But
Yeah.
it's like, I gotta know like, and it's hard because, you take the website that you're learning from, like the Spanish dictionary site you want to use, and you have to take its word,
Mhm.
and hope that it's right. So, I gotta learn like manta, cobija, and fresada.
Yeah. Cool, man. All right.
And that's not even slang.
Yeah. It's been fun, man. I'm getting tired, and I gotta hopefully sleep in a couple hours, and I still have to eat another meal.
Yeah.
Let's close this out. Let me get the marker, and we'll have you sign the poster.
Okay. Wait, can I put our viewers onto investing advice quick?
Go for it.
Okay. So what I've learned from the Ross kids here, and from my friend's brother who's a financial advisor, is strat is to get a Roth IRA with your after-tax money. All your contributions grow tax-free. All your contributions grow tax-free, and the money that your money makes and all your withdrawals will also be tax-free. So you want to put as much money as you can in there. And a good investment, they say the S&P 500 is really hard to outperform. And over every 20-year period that the S&P 500 has existed for, every single 20-year period has been profitable. So you think the market changes a lot. Like a 10-year difference, like from 1999 to 2009, like, you know, there was a bad recession in 2008. That was not profitable, that 10-year gap. But from whatever it was, like 1989 to 2008, even during that recession, if you would have invested in the S&P 500 20 years before, then you still would have made money. And so if you're not earning any money right now as a student, or less than $2,000, you can only put $2,000 in a year. But if you do have a taxable income over $2,000, it has to be taxable, not your side hustle, like dog walking or anything. You can put that money in, but that can't exceed your taxable income. So say you make like $2,500, then you can put in $2,500 into your Roth IRA, and I would just buy the S&P 500. I mean, it's already diversified. If you want to look more into it, my coworker put me onto Investing Simplified, the YouTube site. It has different ETFs in there. For the S&P 500, VOO is a great ETF. Yeah, this guy's the GOAT. This guy's the GOAT. I mean, you can have a 3 ETF portfolio. I mean, I'll simplify it right now. You should really understand what you're buying, but
This YouTuber, what is this? This looks nothing like YouTube.
but you can have VOO. This is the S&P 500.
Yeah.
SCHD, which is a dividend ETF, and ETFs are exchange traded funds, and it'll pay you like a certain amount each month based off of how much you own. And if you reinvest that, then think about it. Then the money that it pays you invest back in, so you own more. So then it pays you more, and that compounds. Think about that over the set of, if you invest now as a 19, 20-year-old, by the time your retirement age, that will be worth millions.
Wow.
And you
Those
think about
are-
it, that investment itself, like the stock also increases in value. So it is increasing in value itself, SCHD, at a great rate, like really great in terms of stocks in general. And it's also paying you money. So, dude,
Hey.
like the whole trick of it is that you need the money in the first place to invest. So, yeah, be smart, save your stuff. You can really
Or
only
find some rich friends.
you can really only play around with money you have, but that's a ticket to it. And then great growth stock to hold on to for a long time. The growth ETF is QQQM. That's what this guy puts you onto.
He knows some
And
shit.
you have to invest without emotion, you know? It's fine to, they call it.
Yeah. Free will aside.
Yeah, seriously. Go, well, no, use your free will. Go against the emotion of seeing yourself
You're
lose
right.
lose money. Don't sell it when it's low. Think about it when it's low. You want to be buying more, because then it is going to go back up.
Yeah.
It is. You have to believe in that. Unless it defies history for the first time ever, any of those investments are going to go
I'll make
back
sure
up
of it.
and beat inflation.
After this podcast goes down.
Well, it might, but not long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, crypto, more stuff like that. We could talk about that for hours. That's
We'll
more
do another one.
volatile.
I feel like there's a lot left on the table we haven't talked about.
Do you ever do part twos?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, dude. Okay,
We'll
I'm
do another
down.
one.
If you'll have me.
100%. This is a lot of fun, man.
This was a lot of fun.
Just flowed.
Yeah, you and I,
You can go hours, man.
yappers, the two
Oh,
of
yeah.
us. But yeah, SCHD, VOO, or VOO, QQQM, all great investments. You can just put a third of your money in your Roth IRA into each. If you just put in like that $2,000 a year, if you make more, put more, however much you can afford to put in. They even say like $20 a week. That adds up. Split it into those three, and you'll have millions by the time you retire.
There you go. Nico's investing advice. Follow it.
And-
Write that down.
If you want to learn Spanish, use Anki. It's a great flashcard system. Make your own flashcards. Add the, I'll leave it for the next podcast.
Next podcast, guys.
I'll show you on the.
In 2028. No, I'm playing this year. Very soon. All right, down. You're number 78, sir.
This will be a big signature, long.
Hell yeah.
Longest name.
We're going to play the pronounce your last name game.
But you gotta show me the wall.
Oh, don't worry. I didn't forget, man. Found a way. It's actually, the game's already started. If you think about it. All right.
Number 78.
Number 78. Perfect. I like it. Nico. All right.
Wait, let me find a sticky note quick before we wrap this up.
Okay. Sticky note. I'm trying to pronounce the name in the meantime.
You want to try to pronounce my last name?
Yeah. Nico Hatzigeorgio.
It's not bad. It's not
Hatzigeorgio.
bad. Yeah.
I got it, dude. It was easy.
You,
What the fuck you
you
talking about?
muffled the middle, the hats a little bit.
Hats.
But Nico Hatzigeorgio.
Hatzigeorgio.
Yeah, that's
I
perfect.
said Hatzigeorgio. Probably that's what I said before. Hatzigeorgio.
In
Not bad. I like
Greece-
that name.
In Greece, you know how they pronounce it?
No.
Hatsuyoriu.
Are you asking me a question? Sound like it.
Isn't that interesting?
Hatzigeorgio. Yeah.
So before this, I'd already been on the Roth IRA strat, but I was doing a work investment.
Okay.
You know, a lot of time if you work for a big company, your employer will offer a retirement account. Definitely want to take advantage of that. Learn all the
So
rules.
did your employer at the hospital do it?
Yeah, it's McLaren. So, you know, you think big
I know
company.
McLaren. My dad has worked with them in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll send this to him. Yeah. That's cool, man.
But
They have a lot of hospitals in Michigan, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they do. They do.
That's sick.
I was thinking about maybe switching to U of M because you think U of M has such
Yeah.
great
Do you know
hospitals, but
Ascension?
I like. Yeah.
I
there's
had
one in
a corporate
Rochester.
executive, a C-suite executive on the podcast.
Dude.
I'll send you that link. It's
Yeah,
cool.
send that my way.
Yeah. That's sick,
It's
dude.
crazy. But
Yeah.
definitely, whenever you start working for a place that offers you a retirement account, your employer will usually match you a certain amount, like however much you put in, they'll put in an equal amount. You definitely want to take advantage of that because it is free money. Like they're paying you more besides just your paycheck. And so you have to put a little bit amount of money in that you really should be investing, saving away for retirement anyways. So you want to take advantage of that. And then, I mean, yeah, you'll be old when you use it, but you can use that, give it to your kids, grandkids, live off of it, which you will need. Like, it is a necessity. Then also, like, donate to whatever charities that you care about, you know? I mean, that's when, if you have more money, you have more influence especially when you're older. So, yeah, use that to see change. But I was talking with a representative from my works in retirement company before this, and he said he doesn't get to talk to many 20-year-olds.
Are you 20?
Or he was just calling me that because I'm 19.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
And he was telling me that at our age, are you 19 as well?
I'm 18.
Okay, yeah, you got even more time, dude.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, open a Roth IRA. Charles Schwab is a great place to open it through.
Okay.
I'll just tell you that. Low fees.
I've never done anything for investing. That's probably a reason about it.
Yeah.
Never like gotten into it, like as an interest.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it can put you off if you don't know much because you're scared. It feels like gambling with
Yeah.
your money. But they say like the S&P 500 like pretty much tracks the market, and it's really hard to outperform. Like you'll see people who on YouTube who will be bragging and have hundreds of thousands of views because over a long period of time their investments outperformed the S&P 500. So that should tell you that it's a great investment at any time.
I believe you, man.
But just in that, for every dollar you put in, you'll have $32 by the time you retire.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy when you think about it. Like
That's
if
a
I
lot.
put in like $45,000 total.
It's $1 million, right?
Come again?
It's over $1 million. Is it?
No, that actually wouldn't be. I don't. This is what this guy was telling me just about my account that he had for me. He was saying like 8% return, which is below the S&P 500's 8% return like a year. So every dollar you put in will be 32 because of our age. You think it doubles every 7 years.
Yeah.
So you want to start now. Time is on your side.
Great advice, man. All
Thank
right,
you.
Close it out. I needed some music recommendations from you. So, tell me,
So
what is
real.
the best album you ever heard that you recommend me?
Best is hard because there's some that I know that are so musically like just artistic, like beautiful.
Tell me. Any one of them.
Well, there are some like I know that are hyped up and everything, like Stevie Wonder's songs in the Key of Life.
Mhm.
That one's good. There's a Steely Dan one that I really like. I don't know every song on there, but I know it's beautiful. It's called, I think it's Aha. It's the one that the song Aha is on.
I think I've heard of this one.
But my favorite album would probably be 10 by Pearl Jam.
Okay.
You know
I'll
Pearl
write that
Jam?
down. I've listened to like a song by them.
Okay. It's got Alive, like I'm still alive.
I don't know much about Pearl Jam. I'll be real. Okay, what's it called? 10.
Yeah, can I play like a song
What I can
mic?
search it up if you want. What?
Oh yeah. Play Black. That's one of my favorite songs now. Well, I think that's on 10. Black Pearl Jam. Yeah. I have a guitar player friend. Luke, shout out you if you made it this far into the video that I sent you. Put me on to Pearl Jam, the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Oh, I love
Foo
Red Hot
Fighters
Chili.
a little bit. I already liked Foo
I like
Fighters,
Foo
but I'll give you
Fighters,
credit
too.
for that one. You
I know
do?
a couple of their songs.
I mean,
Breakout's a great song.
Breakout. I don't think I know that one.
I'll play it.
Uh,
Pretend.
the Foo Fighters album, is it Everlong? Is that the
I don't
name
know-
of the
I don't know
album?
much about 'em.
Or no, it's, dude, I totally know.
I
Yeah,
know a
I
lot
love
of
the
the
song.
bands you sent me in that form were like chill. Like you're more into chill rock. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
well, I
cool.
mean,
Like Red Hot Chili, like,
some
yeah.
some of these can hype me up.
Yeah.
Like, Blood Sugar Sex Magic by Red Hot Chili Peppers is good. So is, Stadium Arcadium. It's a good album. I don't re-listen to songs a ton. Like, I love finding new music.
I've been into that this year. Man.
You have?
Yeah, I've been trying to like get into new shit. Yeah.
Could you look up Dave Matthews albums?
What's it called?
Dave Matthews Band
Oh, yeah.
albums.
Oh fuck. It's hard to type on a new computer. You know what I mean?
Oh, on a different computer
Yeah.
than your own, for sure. Band.
Should I plus this one?
Oh.
It's also
see
like
if
chill
you can-
rock.
see if you can go into albums.
Yeah, Spotify on this.
No, I do have Apple Music though.
All right, it's on here.
It will be if you hit search
Yeah,
down there.
I got you. So you recommend what was it called? 10, all right? Yeah, I'll write it down.
10.
Yeah, I like when I'm in the gym. I can always listen to new albums, so it's like good to explore and ask people.
It's nice that when you're walking or studying.
Yeah. I feel like if I'm studying, I can't really focus on the album.
Dave Matthews.
What am I typing?
Oh, you feel like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They say your brain can only concentrate on one thing at a time, I heard.
Yeah, that's what my CS professor was telling me today, on our first day. So you better not be multitasking here, or else you're not gonna get anything out of this class.
Okay, so Crash. Yeah, Crash and Under the Table Dreaming.
Good albums.
Yeah. I would, yeah, number 41. My friend that I was telling you put me onto this band.
I play.
His top 5 songs of 2023, dude, 5 different versions of this song.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
and this
hilarious.
kid listens to music. He was in the top 0.5% of
Your phone's about to die.
Red Hot Chili Peppers listeners.
Put your
Really?
phone on charge real quick.
Okay. Well, we can wrap up here.
Just in case. I'm gonna close it out. I want to die closing.
Okay.
Okay, let's close out.
This is a good song to close out to. I don't know much of what you listen to. I'd be interested. Lately, I've been listening to more Spanish songs. Oh yeah, I got a core, but I don't know if it'll reach.
Let's close it out. I mean, like in terms of rock, I've really been getting into. For me, like it's either really aggressive or like really groovy and fun. Like I think the best rock album I've ever heard was Nevermind by Nirvana. You heard of it?
Is that the one that what's it called? Smells Like Teen Spirit, isn't it?
Yeah.
The one with the baby.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
This album is incredible.
In Bloom.
Dude,
I
that
love
song
In
is so
Bloom.
good. Every song on here is a hit. I don't like. There's not a single song I don't like on here. Come As You Are is my favorite.
Dude, are you serious? You like Batman?
Huh?
The
Nah.
Batman?
No, I don't know you know it's in Batman. Oh, you have it saved here too.
You don't know it's in Batman? It's like the song
watch
when
movies,
he's
bro.
speeding up. Dude, I haven't seen many, but I saw that in the theater.
Yeah.
But it's him driving in the Batmobile, and
Come
what's the line? Wait, wait,
as
wait.
you are.
It's okay to eat fish, 'cause they don't have any feelings. But wait, can you play In Bloom?
Yeah, it sounds great.
I like Lilium too. Oh, I'm thinking Something in the Way. Something in the
Oh.
Way. Something in the Way.
That's
oh,
more
no,
like
no,
your
no,
kind.
no. I was thinking that for Batman. For Batman. But In Bloom is the one that's like, he's the one who knows all our pretty songs. Do you play any instruments? Did you used to?
Ever.
Really?
I kind of wish I did now.
I feel like I could see you knowing one.
I don't know
One.
anything. I know how to podcast, if that counts. I know how these mics work.
Can you beatbox?
Nah, I can't.
Okay, I could see that. I could see you liking Nirvana.
If you see me in the gym, part of this album.
Dude, yeah. Hype me up so much. They hype me up so much.
I'm a big Green Day fan too. I like Green Day because it's like happy and groovy, which puts me in a good mood.
Really? I
Yeah.
feel like Green Day is still like kind of hard.
It depends. Like if you listen to a song like Warning, it's so happy. Like this is that
Dang.
if I'm driving and it's first thing in the morning, this puts me in a good mood. It's like so. I feel like I'm a Home Depot dad going about my day.
I haven't listened to much Green Day. I like them though. Does the music you listen to really depend on your mood?
Nah, I'll just throw anything on.
Really?
I guess no. I guess it kind of depends. I like rap a lot too.
Okay. Really, what rap?
I've been getting a Tribe recently. A Tribe Called Quest. So good.
Oh yeah,
So
they're
good.
awesome.
Feels like a great way. This song is like a great way to start my day. You know,
Yeah, this is a fun
driving. Like I'm dropping my sister to school or something.
one. You're what?
Like I'm dropping my sister to school or something.
Can you hit the 3 lines next to the song? It'll be like
Yeah.
I want to add it to my library.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
the star.
Yeah,
star.
I got you.
Yeah, real.
I mean, in terms of rap, this album I started listening to this week, and it's so good. Midnight Marauders, dude, by Tribe. I mean, I listen to a lot of like old 2000s and 90s rap mainly.
Do you like Juicy by Biggie Smalls?
That's an elite song. I feel like, you know, the way I describe that song. I feel like, imagine, close your eyes, all right? You're back in 3rd grade, and you wake up in the morning, you see the sun's out, and it's winter, so that feels weird. Why is the sun out? And there's like an alarm clock on your table, and you look at it, it says 9:30 a.m. Shit, I'm gonna be late for school. And you jump out of bed for the first time ever. You run down to your mom and say, Mom, what happened? We're going to be late. And she says, look outside. It's a snow day. That's the energy that song gives me. I'll play you and you'll know what I mean. Like the intro of that song gives me that energy. I'm like in 3rd grade and it's a snow day. I know it's oddly specific, but just listen to it.
Top 5 feelings, all time.
Yeah,
You can move it back.
it's fine. The part doesn't come yet.
used to read a Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper, heavy D up in the limousine.
Ooh. Right, that intro where it's like, it was all a dream. Like, he woke up and like, the snow's outside, fuck. But yeah, Midnight Marauders, dude. What an album, bro. This album is also just really groovy. Like, it's fun to like dance to in the gym.
Fun in the gym.
Yeah, this album gets you be so hyped. So it's a group of 4 guys. Q-Tip, he's a rapper and a producer. Five Dog is a rapper, and the other 2 are also help with DJ production stuff. Like Ali Shaheed Muhammad and Jerobi. But the vibe I get is like a 4 guys having fun, fucking around, having a good time. That's how I like the vibe. They're all just like bouncing for fun beats, you know. I think both Q-Tip and Five Dog are 2 top 10 rappers of all time, in my opinion. This is Q-Tip. And one more last one I'll play, and we'll close it out.
Okay.
This one is
Wait,
fun.
Can you favorite that one too?
Yeah,
I
this
told you
is-
I love getting new songs.
This one is like, you can tell how fun it is because they're making fun of each other. And, fuck, where is it? Right at the intro of this. Which one was it? This one. That line is so funny to me. It's like, damn, Fife, you got fat. Yeah, I know it looks pathetic. Ali Shaheed Muhammad got me doing calisthenics. That's just hilarious, bro. Anyways, music's great, man.
Yeah.
I love music.
You gotta show me the rest. I'll give you more too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on.
It's a lot of fun. We'll do this again
Yeah.
very soon.
This was cool. This was good timing too. Start the
Yeah.
semester off.
Hell yeah. First day. We're back. And we're right into it, man. Thank you for coming down.
Yeah, sweet. I enjoyed my time here.
Let's call it a day.
Bet.
If you enjoyed that episode, then I guarantee that you'll enjoy this episode right here. Make sure you click here to watch that episode, and the best way to support us is to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell as well. It is the best way to support us, and it'll help us to keep growing, get better guests, better production, and make this the best podcast in the world.